Chapter 1507, Anger Against a Common Enemy. Chapter 1507, Anger Against a Common Enemy. Underscore the other end of the chaotic space basin was a five-colored light curtain that was like murmuring water that was slowly revealing. Shiryen, Montesi, and Hero gathered in the sky of Grace Mainland and observed the light curtain and the changing space streamers. It was the territory entrance. Crossing the light curtain, they could enter a branch of the currents to the seabed of the Sea of Annihilation. Then, they could get to the surface of the Sea of Annihilation. Hero and I talked. We chose the territory. It's called Cloud Mist. It's not as vast as Desolate Territory, and the earth and heaven energy aren't abundant, either. However, it's a rare and precious territory of our Phantom clan. It's suitable for warriors to stay and cultivate. Montesi's eyes smiled. Cloud Mist territory is close to the Whitebone clan's territories. We can visit each other more often. Hero and I can join hands to create a passage to bring this continent to Cloud Mist territory instantly from here. However, we need some time. We asked you here to confirm. Hero looked at him, his eyes strange. After 10 years, your god power hasn't increased, but your aura is close to the territory ancestor realm. It seems that you have a special way to understand. Shiryen was serene, his eyes peaceful. I got some harvest. What do you think? Montesi wanted a clear answer. Okay, releasing his soul consciousness, Shiryen sensed for a while. Then, he nodded, Precursor Hero and Montesi, please stay and build the passage here. I'm going to the Sea of Annihilation for a while. He turned to Emperor Sea Shark and explained, Emperor Sea Shark wants to evacuate his fellows. I'm going with him. Emperor Sea Shark and Shenren were moved. They nodded and waited for Hero and Montesi's opinions. No problem. We need time to create the passage anyway. We'll wait for you, said Hero. Montesi nodded. I'm going with you, Meiji beamed. I'm familiar with the Sea of Annihilation. If something happens, I can help. I've collected information regarding the Sea of Annihilation's condition recently. I think I can help you well. What do you think? Shiryen asked Emperor Sea Shark. I have to thank Madame Meiji a lot for that. Thank you, said Emperor Sea Shark with a stern face. Go. Shiryen shot through the entrance territory and disappeared like a streak of a meteor. Emperor Sea Shark, Shenren, and Meiji followed him and disappeared into the territory entrance. Seabed, Sea of Annihilation. The seabed area seems smaller. It's strange. Something happened, Emperor Sea Shark moved around and knitted his brows. This sea area belongs to me. I know how big it is. But, look at this, it's getting much smaller. That year, after Shiryen's bloody battle on the seabed, the Sea of Annihilation seabed shrunk. Since Meiji had always paid attention to the Sea of Annihilation, she sent her warriors to measure the area carefully. She knew clearly. The shockwaves from the territory ancestors' battle had damaged the seabed seriously. Thus, the place changed. Meiji wore a violet dress. She was as beautiful as a bright flower. She was both charming and sexy. As soon as they left Grace Mainland, she returned to her mature, enchanting appearance. She wasn't afraid of Emperor Sea Shark and Shenren as she pressed her voluptuous body against Shiryen's. She couldn't relax when she was in front of the elders of her clan like Montesi. But now, she could be herself and show her love. She pulled Shiryen's arm, her cheek blushing. I heard that your subordinates haven't had easy lives. The members of the 5 clans often come to the seabed to trouble them. Since you guys were gone, many of your enemies have provoked your warriors. Emperor Sea Shark and Shenren's eyes darkened. They sighed. How could they not know that? Emperor Sea Shark wasn't a territory ancestor of the 5 clans. He didn't have a strong background. Once he offended someone, he had to endure it alone. Otherwise, he had to run and hide. As soon as he left, his fellows became targets. It wasn't strange that they had to live in trouble. I know they had to struggle a lot. Before Shenren and I left, I had asked them to give up the benefits and find remote areas to stay. Emperor Sea Shark lowered his voice. If not, why do I have to bring them to the Endless Sea? After you reach Second Sky of Territory Ancestor Realm, we won't be afraid of the 5 clans anymore. At that realm, even if they want to trouble us, They have to think about your wrath first, said Shinren in a cold voice. Emperor Sea Shark beamed a forced smile. Reaching second sky of territory Ancestor Realm? It's easier said than done. I'm sure you can, sir. Shinren had a strong belief. Meiji sneered and didn't say anything. However, from her attitude, they could see that she didn't really appreciate Emperor Sea Shark. To break through to the territory Ancestor Realm, it didn't require only a new understanding of the realm, but also enormous god power accumulation. It would take a lot of earth and heaven treasures. Since Meiji was a member of the Phantom Clan, Montesi had given her a lot of resources that the clan had treasured for years to help her reach the territory Ancestor Realm in a short time. However, Meiji understood clearly that she was at just first sky of territory Ancestor Realm. It would require an unimaginably enormous amount of energy and materials to reach the next realm. Also, even the Phantom Clan was one of the 7 great clans. It wasn't easy to continuously provide her with precious materials. Emperor Sea Shark cultivated alone. He didn't have a force to back him up. He didn't have a natural territory that provided him with pellets and abundant cultivating materials. It wasn't easy to break through to second sky of territory Ancestor Realm. It was also the reason why his peers like Farrell or Ricardo had to follow the 5 clans to seek support, no matter how arrogant they were. Illicitly, Farrell and Ricardo knew that they couldn't enter second sky of territory Ancestor Realm with their own foundation. Only the big forces like the 7 clans could have enough power and wealth with dozens of territories supporting them by providing them with rolling and unceasing required cultivating materials. Emperor Sea Shark, Meiji pondered for a while and then smiled. She suggested seriously, have you ever thought about joining a clan like the Whitebone clan or our Phantom clan? If you join our Phantom clan, we can provide you with our resources. It will be good for your breakthrough. Farrell and Ricardo do the same. You can do that too. At least when you join the Whitebone clan or the Phantom clan, the other 5 clans won't dare to touch you. Shinren lowered his head when he heard it from Meiji and said nothing. Emperor Sea Shark didn't change his visage. Keeping silent for a while, he said indifferently, if I wanted that, I would have joined one of the 7 clans a long time ago. But I'd rather break through slowly than lose my freedom. I'm really sorry. I appreciate your goodwill, but I don't want to work for you guys. Meiji looked regretful. She just sighed deeply, but she didn't talk him into this. As Emperor Sea Shark made his decision, the Whitebone clan and the Phantom clan wouldn't help him resist the other 5 clans. When the 5 clans attacked him, they wouldn't offer help proactively. As Emperor Sea Shark wasn't a member of their clan, it was like they were nosing into someone else's business. It went against common interests and rules. Because of this topic, they had become relatively silent. They didn't try to talk furthermore. Emperor Sea Shark guided Shiryen and Meiji to move around the seabed. They had met a lot of warriors taking adventures. Shiryen and Emperor Sea Shark had proactively avoided them to prevent encountering unexpected troubles. Anyway, Shiryen and Emperor Sea Shark were the 5 clans' targets, especially Shiryen. At this moment, he was the nail in their eyes. Everybody dreamed of taking his power Upanishad symbol tower. Once his whereabouts were disclosed, the experts of the 5 clans had to surround him like flies. After a short time, the 4 of them had entered an area filled with jagged rocks. Emperor Sea Shark's face darkened. His eyes flared with cold light as they raked through the rocky area. Shiryen looked at him and sighed. Restrain your grief. Boom, boom, boom. Jagged rocks exploded and revealed a red area. Dead bodies of the Sea Clan warriors appeared from the cracks of the rocks. A massive rock carried around 10 bodies, but the bodies were dismembered. It wasn't hard to imagine what kind of torments they had to endure before their death. They were killed because the murderers wanted to squeeze out Emperor Sea Shark's whereabouts from them. Emperor Sea Shark and Shinren shivered, their eyes burning with flames of rage. The thick murderous aura from them made Shiryen frown. He worried that Emperor Sea Shark and Shinren couldn't hold it and would burst out to find the enemies. It's just one of our bases. Let's move and check another one. Emperor Sea Shark bit his lip. Blood trickled from his mouth. He let out a low roar like a dying beast. The massive rocks and the dismembered bodies turned into jets of light that came to his territory. He took Shinren, Shiryen, and Meiji and moved away. They had come to 3 different bases and found the same situation. His fellows were massacred. They were chilled when they saw the butchered bodies. No one was alive. Shiryen looked at Emperor Sea Shark and Shenron. He knew that they were about to explode. He knew that 2 of them were trying hard to press down their wrath. He was touched as he understood their grief and resentment. They could see the marks of torments on the dismembered bodies. As he saw the chopped bodies, he blamed himself. He was responsible for their deaths. He couldn't deny it. If Emperor Sea Shark hadn't stood against Feral, Neptune, and Ricardo to help him, the 5 clans wouldn't have attacked the Sea Clan warriors. Emperor Sea Shark wouldn't have had to escape. If Emperor Sea Shark hadn't come to desolate territory, those people wouldn't have been killed so tragically. I don't care whoever did this. I promise you that I will join hands with you to kill the murderers, Shiryen said solemnly. Chapter 1508, The Light in the Desperate Straits. Chapter 1508, The Light in the Desperate Straits. Underscore countless tufts of algae grew like clusters of thick clouds that eyes couldn't see through. It was troublesome for the soul consciousness to extend through these clusters. This was the last base that Emperor Sea Shark and Shinren had established. It was also the most mysterious shelter by the edge of the Sea of Annihilation. With terrifying dangers nearby, not many people dared to visit this death trap. Thus, Emperor Sea Shark and Shenren thought that it would be the safest shelter. The closer they got, the more restless and worried Emperor Sea Shark and Shenren became. They had checked around 10 shelters and sent their fellows there to avoid the slaughter. However, they found no alive members. The tragic scenes hammered their hearts and made them bleed in agony. They had hoped for this last base. If this place was also raided, they would be attacked so badly that they could even collapse directly. While slowly advancing in the field of algae, Shiryen also became tense. He released his soul consciousness to sense. There's life energy. His eyes brightened. Shiryen became sober and hissed, "Many people are gathering." As he cultivated life power Upanishad, his sensing ability was more accurate than Emperor Sea Shark. Hearing him, the gloomy gleam in Emperor Sea Shark and Shinren's eyes subsided. They cheered up. "Go!" Emperor Sea Shark let out a low shout and moved like a sharp sword thrusting into the area of thick algae in the center. Shortly after, a strange area came to their views. It was the center of the algae field where there were so many fungal plants. They were illuminating radiantly like lights. And the space above their heads still had a lot of algae leaves like thick clouds that could hinder the eyes and the soul consciousness. This area had many lamp-like fungal growths and vivid red coral with pieces of glass scattered, sparkling beautifully. Many fellows of the Sea Clan were packed in this area. They all looked sorrowful. Many of them had cut limbs and most of them looked desperate, their eyes blank while facing the sky. The dispirited, heavy air filled the entire place and made people shiver. The Sea Clan warriors were all in low spirits. They didn't cultivate and just sat idly, waiting for death. Daduk and Hu Jiao, who used to fight Shiryen, were in this group. The warriors with strong competencies gathered by them. With a solemn face, they were discussing something. They looked like they were about to risk their lives. Shiryen, Emperor Sea Shark, Shinren, and Meiji moved through the algae leaves and quietly entered the area. Looking at his low-spirited fellows, Emperor Sea Shark looked gloomy. He knew how harsh and terrible it was for his people to endure the torment. Shinren sighed inwardly. His sigh was like a thunderclap in this area that woke some warriors nearby. They jolted up as if they were encountering enemies and screamed, "They're here." It was their instinct. That's what it had to be. They thought that the chasers had finally here, so they screamed when they heard a strange commotion. Then, they turned around. With the sharp weapons in their hands, they were ready to have a deadly battle. All the members of the Sea Clan in this area, whether they were the elderly or kids, wore resentful faces and clutched their weapons, showing a murderous aura. "Sir Shun run! Sir Shun run! Tribal oldie! Tribal oldie is back! It's the tribal oldie!" All of a sudden, the entire area was boiling. The members of the Sea Clan had tears in their eyes. They finally saw hope in desperate straits. They cried while the women sobbed and whined. The cries created a chain reaction and expanded to all the members. Whether they were the children, the elderly, or the bravest warriors, they were all weak like helpless kids who finally found adults that could help them out. They cried to vent their indignation. Seeing the members of the Sea Clan crying, Shiryen and Meiji also wore gloomy faces. They understood clearly that if Emperor Sea Shark hadn't helped them at that time, they would have endured Farrell's sinister deeds. Also, because Emperor Sea Shark had helped them, he had brought his members a genocide. Hu Jiao and the Blood Iron warriors of the Sea Clan came and kneeled in front of Emperor Sea Shark. Hu Jiao said, "We didn't fail you. We have protected the Crystal Palace. However, it's very dangerous around. We have to keep it in another area. Tribal oldie, please take revenge for us." Dadok's eyes were bloodshot. He gritted his teeth until blood trickled down the corners of his mouth. He grunted with deep resentment. Farrell and the Soul Clan had destroyed our shelters. Half of our population was killed. Please seek justice for us. Please take revenge for us. All the members of the Sea Clan cried in agony as if they wanted to cry their hearts out of grief. I got it. I know it. I will. I definitely will. Emperor Sea Shark had tears lingering in his eyes. He screamed his most solid promise that was imprinted in his soul and would never fade. Dadok, what happened? Shiryen walked to him and asked in a soft voice. Dadok looked at him, his face so cold, but he said nothing. He knew that everything that happened was related to Shiryen. Without Shiryen, the Sea Clan wouldn't have had to endure such catastrophes. Seeing Dadok with discreet resentment, Shiryen rubbed his nose and sighed. He didn't ask further as he understood the hatred the Sea Clan had for him. Dadok, don't be impudent. It's our choice. We owed him. We must pay back. It's not directly because of Shiryen, shouted Shinran. He pulled himself together and then asked, what happened after all? Dadok pondered for a while and then told them what had happened. At first, due to Monesi's slaughter, Farrell, Ricardo, and Neptune had escaped the Sea of Annihilation. Although they had been aimed at the whole time, they still survived. They just needed to give up some benefits. After Monesi had left the Sea of Annihilation, Farrell and Ricardo didn't return. However, because they had joined the 5 clans, their subordinates had swaggered around and forced Dadok and Hu Jiao. They had to restrain themselves a lot and their territory was reduced. During that time, they hadn't encountered any catastrophe. This was until Shiryen invited Monesi, Hero, and Emperor Sea Shark to Desolate Territory. To find the entrance to Desolate Territory, the 5 clans had sent their troops to the Sea of Annihilation. Farrell, Ricardo, and Neptune had also returned since the forces they had gathered were strong enough to not worry about Monesi's power. They weren't afraid of Monesi, so they began to find Emperor Sea Shark to take revenge. Neptune and Farrell had launched their operation. They sent troops of the Soul Clan and Ancient Monster Clan to the seabed to hunt Dadok and Hu Jiao. They did that to force Emperor Sea Shark to show himself. They even wanted to kill Emperor Sea Shark altogether. Dadok and Hu Jiao knew that Emperor Sea Shark had gone to Desolate Territory. They couldn't contact him, so they had to avoid the danger. Thus, they had to run away the entire time. The Sea Clan's shelters were raided until they retreated to this last resort. They finally got some time to rest. However, they were still edgy as they were afraid that Neptune and Farrell's warriors would come to hunt them down to the last member at any minute. It was also the reason why they screamed in panic when they felt someone coming. They thought that their enemies had finally come to take their lives. Neptune. Emperor Sea Shark gritted his teeth. Farrell. Meiji also sneered. I have to find him too. He killed a lot of my subordinates. He killed Yulien. Does he think he can resist our wrath if he comes to the Ancient Monster Clan? Harumph. Neptune and Farrell came to the Sea of Annihilation personally because of the territory entrance. It seems like they got some harvest. Shiryen contemplated, his eyes flaring with light. He knew something. What do you mean? Meiji reacted fast. Except for the warriors from Desolate Territory, only the Devouring Clan knows the territory entrance. As the Devouring Clan failed in Desolate Territory, and I got the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower, the Devouring Clan wouldn't let it slip away easily. I think the Devouring clan will disclose the precise location of the territory entrance, assumed Shiryen. It's true. Otherwise, the hotshots from the 5 clans wouldn't gather in the Sea of Annihilation altogether, Meiji nodded. Shiryen pondered for a while, his eyes raking through Daduk, Hu Jiao, and the others. After a long moment, he said, Precursor Emperor Sea Shark, the urgent matter to do now is to take them to the Endless Sea first. We have to ensure their safety first. About taking revenge, I can commit that I won't just stand and stare. You. Daduk snorted, you're at the immortal realm. How can you manage that? Can you? Shut up. Shinrun shouted and then talked to Emperor Sea Shark, tribal oldie, deliver the kids to the safe place first. We will take revenge later. What do you think? Emperor Sea Shark wasn't foolish. He knew what was wise to do. He nodded and then said, do as Shiryen said. We will take our fellows to the safe area first. The Sea of Annihilation will become chaotic soon. The Great War will happen at any minute. Then, Emperor Sea Shark, Shiryen, and Meiji escorted the Sea Clan's remaining members. Emperor Sea Shark used his territory ancestor realm power to transport them to the territory entrance to desolate territory. So many black brocade flags with drawings of brutal souls and evil ghosts flew to the front of the algae area. Hu Jiao observed for a while and his face turned icy as he grunted. It's them. It's the Soul Clan and the Ancient Monster Clan's troops that had surrounded and destroyed our fellows. Daduk gritted his teeth like a wounded wild beast, his face resentful. Kill them all, hissed Shiryen. Chapter 1509. Discharge Resentment. Chapter 1509. Discharge Resentment. So many black brocade flags fluttered on the seabed. The members of the Soul Clan stood under the flags and most of them had profound realms at Incipient God Realm and Immortal Realm. The leader of this troop was also a commander at Sing's level, Worthy. He was at the peak of Immortal Realm and he got dark energy, which meant that he was just one step away from the territory Ancestor Realm. Worthy had a close relationship with Neptune. He attacked the Sea Clan this time to force Emperor Sea Shark to show himself. On the Sea of Annihilation seabed, Worthy had attacked Daduk and Hu Jiao many times. Hu Jiao couldn't resist him and he had let him kill many Sea Clan warriors. A massive, shining black brocade flag hovered above his head. It was like his ghostly face. Worthy had a lanky body and his skin was like tree bark. So many ghosts wound around his body and wore extremely ferocious and sinister appearances. He was infamous even in the Soul Clan. Brother Kanbei, I heard that Precursor Feral had accepted you as his disciple. Congratulations. You also cultivate lightning power Upanishad. Following him, your realm will advance rapidly. Worthy grinned and looked at Kanbei standing next to him. Kanbei was a member of Ancient Monster Tribe at Third Sky of Immortal Realm, but he hadn't gotten dark energy. After Feral had joined the Ancient Monster Clan, Kanbei volunteered to be his subordinate because he also cultivated lightning power Upanishad. He wanted to learn stronger techniques from Feral. It was Feral's plan to send him to the Sea of Annihilation this time to slaughter Emperor Sea Shark's warriors. He was also willing to do that anyway. He wanted to use this chance to prove his talents and prove that he had wholeheartedly followed Feral. He hoped that Feral would teach him his profound power Upanishad. Kanbei and Worthy were here to hunt Emperor Sea Shark's warriors. They knew each other and now their target was the same. Of course, they would go the same way. During this time, while Neptune and Feral had exerted their efforts to find the territory entrance, the two of them had taken the troops to kill half of the Sea Clan warriors on Hu Jiao and Daduk's side. After the others had found the territory entrance, their mission here was going to be done too. However, at the last moment, they had encountered trouble. Hu Jiao and Daduk had disappeared. They understood that this sea area belonged to Emperor Sea Shark and they knew there would be some traps around. They knew that Hu Jiao and Daduk had hidden the remaining members of the Sea Clan around this area. However, they had searched around for a long time and found nothing. They became skeptical. We should finish them early. It'd be better, Kanbei laughed. I heard that Edgar of the Soul Clan found the territory entrance's location. He invited people to wait there. Rumors say that desolate territory has so many marvels. We should finish here as soon as possible so that we can go there too. I think so, Worthy guffawed, Hu Jiao has retracted his head. He thought we couldn't find him. But it's good then. Once we find them, we can harvest the whole batch. It will save us from many troubles. While talking, they saw a big mass of algae moving fast. Their eyes brightened. Checking for a while, they cried in surprise as they realized that they were Hu Jiao, Daduk, and the remaining members of the Sea Clan. They stirred up immediately. They ordered their troopers to align in formation to cover that mass of algae. The groups of the Soul Clan and Ancient Monster Clan became dark and cold, their brutal aura emitting. They began to move around the mass of algae and stand in formations. Hu Jiao, I know you're there. Our request is simple. You tell us where Emperor Sea Shark is or you die. Worthy pulled a dark face and grinned. But even if you choose to die, I won't let you die easily. Mwahaha, perhaps you know how your fellows were killed. They didn't have an intact body, did they? Inside the mass of algae, the Sea Clan warriors had red eyes like beasts that saw blood. The images of the dismembered corpses emerged in their heads, which churned their resentment in their hearts. They became restless. We shouldn't show up. We don't want them to run away. If we want to kill them, we will kill them to the last member, Shuryen muttered. Meiji nodded quietly. Emperor Sea Shark and Shin Ren wore dark faces. After a while, Emperor Sea Shark said, Hu Jiao, lure them in. As long as they get in, we can kill them all. Hu Jiao became excited as if each of his cells revived. Inside the mass of algae, he shouted, Worthy. Kanbei. Even if we become ghosts, we won't let you go. Tribal oldie will seek revenge for us. Wahaha. Worthy crackled sinisterly. Become ghosts? Haha, Worthy, want to make you ghosts. Haha, my ghosts. The brocade flags above the Soul Clan troops changed. Many ghosts appeared, and they were all the members of the Sea Clan. Worthy had killed them and dragged their souls. He refined them to be his brutal souls and ghosts. They were now an energy source for his weapons. It's the kids' souls. This mass of algae was strange. After Shen Ren had sent his soul consciousness to it, it became transparent. The Sea Clan experts inside could see the commotions outside. Thus, they realized their familiar fellows on those flags. After those souls were refined, their consciousness was omitted, which made them bloodthirsty and evil. They didn't have any human emotions. The members of the Sea Clan inside the tufts of algae felt their hearts bleeding as they saw their families and friends like that. Emperor Sea Shark clutched his chest and shivered. He looked like many lightning strikes struck him. He looked extremely grieved. We're not going out there. We will defend this place until our tribal oldie comes back. When that day comes, you all have to die. Hu Jiao looked at Emperor Sea Shark, shouting, If you don't get out here, we will go there to catch you. Mwahaha, how do you have the guts to talk to me like that? Kanbei shook his head, waved his hands, and then said to his subordinates, We don't have time. Don't waste more. Let's go. Follow me. Get in. Worth ordered and signaled his troopers to be careful. Worthy and Kanbei took their warriors and attacked the algae mass. They urged their god power. Their entire bodies sparkled as they were cautious to prevent any ambush. Magically, they didn't encounter an attack as they moved toward the algae mass. Worthy and Kanbei became skeptical. They thought that Hu Jiao and Daduk didn't have enough power to set up an outer defense. They relaxed more, so they called for the other warriors guarding around to come. All of them had finally entered the vast field of algae. This algae field was really immense. Perhaps it was even several times bigger than the Immortal Island. The thick algae leaves had covered everywhere. Moving through the area, they all felt their visions and soul consciousness hinder. It was hard to check the life energy fluctuations here. Apparently, with Worthy and Kanbei's competence, they couldn't sense Shuryen's and Emperor Sea Shark's life energy fluctuation. Thus, they only saw fungal plants, red coral, and shattered glass after entering the algae field. They also saw the Sea Clan warriors in helter-skelter conditions. They saw Hu Jiao, Daduk, and the fierce appearances on their faces. Worthy and Kanbei didn't notice. They thought that Hu Jiao and Daduk was now at the end of their strength, so they just left. It's your last force. It's good that we can kill you all here and then run to the territory entrance. Mingling in the crowd, Shiryen felt chilled as he knew he was right. Edgar of the Devouring Clan had disclosed the entrance's location. Hu Jiao and Daduk wore cold faces as they watched Worthy and Kambei came one after another. They didn't hurry. Emperor Sea Shark and Shinran hiding behind them didn't show themselves yet. Gradually, most of Worthy's and Kambei's troopers had entered the place. Receiving their leader's signals, they grinned and showed their fangs to accept the killing mission. At this moment, Emperor Sea Shark and Shinran finally walked out of the crowd. I heard you guys wanted to see me? Emperor Sea Shark tried to suppress his anger, his voice relatively calm. Boop, boop, boop. Flows of sharp water like darts shot out from behind Emperor Sea Shark. Shortly after, dozens of Soul Clans and Ancient Monster Clans warriors were pierced through. Those water arrows seemed to have consciousness. After they had pierced through those people, they acted as sharp blades that chopped off their bodies. The pungent smell of blood emitted from the center of the algae field. Blood dyed the seawater red like there were so many beautiful red flowers. Emperor Sea Shark. Worthy and Kambei screamed at the same time. They acted as if they had encountered ghosts. They became restlessly frightened. Aren't you in desolate territory? Sir Edgar said that he met you there. How could you be here? It turns out that you knew about my whereabouts right from the start. You just made an excuse to slaughter my fellows. No wonder you're here instead of the two bastards Neptune and Feral. They knew I couldn't be here. Emperor Sea Shark's wrath erupted as he shouted crazily. Emperor Sea Shark took action. Shiryen and Meiji exchanged looks and also took action. Icicles shot out from Meiji's eyes like death sides. The warriors from the Soul Clan and the Ancient Monster Clan couldn't resist. They were frozen and broken. Shiryen had space vines slither in his eyes like snakes. Sharp space sabers emerged invisibly. Worthy and Kambei's warriors were minced like cubes of tofu that were cut off equally. The Sea Clan members were cheering happily as they saw Worthy and Kambei's subordinates being killed tragically. Finally, they could discharge their heavy resentment. Chapter 1510. Leave no one alive. Chapter 1510. Leave no one alive. _ 18+. Worthy and Kambei had led around 1,000 warriors. Most of them were at Incipient God Realm. A small part was at Immortal Realm, and another part was at Ethereal God Realm. This big troop didn't consist of just members of the Soul Clan and the Ancient Monster Clan, as most of them were from second-class clans that had followed the Soul Clan and the Ancient Monster Clan. Although Worthy and Kambei didn't want to see them die, it wasn't that they couldn't accept the loss. Until Shiryen's eyes brightened and he disappeared, Kambei and Worthy discolored in fear. The warriors watching outside were actually hotshots from Kambei's and Worthy's clans. When Shiryen had disappeared all of a sudden, their hearts were startled as they realized something had gone wrong. They counted on their clan's hotshots outside to contact Neptune, Feral, and other experts of their clans to ask them to come here immediately. Worthy and Kambei all had high realms, especially Worthy. They had reached the peak of Immortal Realm, and they were just a step away from the territory Ancestor Realm. He thought that he could resist Emperor Sea Shark for a short time to give their members a chance to guard outside, to call and wait until Neptune came. As soon as Shiryen disappeared, he found that the members of his clan guarding outside were dying continuously. He finally changed his visage. More desperately to him, Meiji appeared. Meiji had also reached the territory Ancestor Realm. Worthy and Kambei were more frightened. As Meiji had joined this, it meant that the Phantom Clan was involved. It also meant that the Phantom Clan wasn't afraid of being their enemy. Besides the Ice Power Upanishad, Meiji was famous for her enchanting technique. From some aspect, the enchanting technique was more powerful than Emperor Sea Shark's competence. Indeed, Meiji suddenly smiled and talked to them. She was like a beautiful and seductive ghost that was posing her graceful contours. Her succulent red lips parted as she talked to them. Kambei's and Worthy's subordinates became stirred up. They were now like marionettes that turned to attack Kambei and Worthy. Worthy had foreseen it. He was prepared, so he wasn't wounded. As Kambei was careless, a warrior struck a flame to his chest. Kanbei was from the ancient monster clan, so he had a hairy chest. The flame had burned his hair and he winced and grimaced. Kill them. Don't show mercy. Enjoy your killing. Meiji smiled tenderly. Her soft voice was like honey in their souls. They became frantic and attacked each other. Meiji smiled faintly. Worthy and Kanbei's troopers lost their minds. They were like horrible beasts tearing and biting each other. Blood splashed. Pieces of flesh were sent everywhere. Hu Jiao, Daduk, and the Sea Clan warriors paled when they saw this bloody scene. They were scared when they saw Meiji, though. Meiji was more terrifying than Emperor Sea Shark. Internal destruction was the most powerful attack. Outside. Check outside, hissed Hu Jiao. The members of the Sea Clan looked outside through the transparent layer of algae leaves. Their eyes brightened immediately. The area outside the mass of algae was where real hotshots of the ancient monster clan and soul clan gathered. Shuryen was like an evil spirit that had come to slaughter in this world. The darkness was like a thick black cloud that covered the warriors outside. The earth-filling destruction energy had swarmed them together with the scythe-like death aura. The corrosive energy that melted down the bodies. The 8 great, evil power Upanishads were used at the same time. A black hole like a demon's mouth drew and swallowed a bunch of soul altars. The experts of the ancient monster clan and the soul clan were killed continuously and frantically. Daduk hated Shuryen, but now he felt better when he saw Shuryen slaughter his enemies bloodily. He had torn them into pieces and swallowed their soul altars altogether. Shuryen, Meiji, and Emperor Sea Shark worked together. Worthy and Kanbei couldn't escape anymore. Shortly after, Shuryen had finished the warriors from the 2 clans. He got into the algae mass once again and released a black hole to draw so many soul altars. Worthy and Kanbei were taken care of by Emperor Sea Shark and Meiji. Under the fierce bombarding of the territory Ancestor Realm experts, their god power defense broke. Worthy's and Kanbei's bodies exploded. As soon as they saw the situation turn wrong, they wanted to use the soul altar to run away. The hovering black hole spun and sucked hard. Their soul altars became 2 jets of light that disappeared into the black hole. Hu Jiao and Daduk had ordered their members. The Sea Clan warriors burst out. After Worthy and Kanbei were gone, they started to take revenge on their subordinates. The bloody scenes of hell were shown in the world that wasn't really spacious inside the algae mass. Shuryen closed his eyes and tried to absorb the energy released. Today, he didn't need to conceal them anymore. He didn't need to worry that people would know he understood the devouring power Upanishad of the devouring clan. He used his power relaxingly and swallowed all the remaining soul energy. As the killing was carried out, members of the Sea Clan who had lost their families had used all their means to vent out anger that they had accumulated for a long time. Emperor Sea Shark and Meiji stopped attacking. They left the finishing work for the warriors with deep hatred. They knew clearly that those warriors needed to release their pressure. That's how their minds could be eased and the pain from their families' deaths would subside. Swoosh! Swoosh! Daduk panted, his eyes bloodshot and his body soaked in blood. He had beaten up the last one to a dough. Eventually, he slumped as if he had lost all of his energy and his heart cried out from the pain. Shuryen closed his eyes and enjoyed taking in the scattering energy. Invisible threads of energy quietly gathered toward him and entered his acupuncture points and the black hole. After a long time, he opened his eyes and glanced at Meiji. Come with me. Meiji was talking to Emperor Sea Shark as the algae mass was moving towards the territory entrance. Hearing him, Meiji was surprised. But then, she seemed to remember something and blushed. She bit her lower lips and waves of light rippled through her eyes. I'm going to talk to him, Meiji told Emperor Sea Shark. Then, as Emperor Sea Shark was puzzled, she turned into a jet of light and disappeared together with Shuryen into a remote area in between the algae leaves. Shuryen set up barriers to prevent the soul consciousness and peeking eyes. Meiji blushed. She didn't talk but tacitly set up her blue sky halos to prevent people from seeing them. As she did that, her round bosom shivered slightly, her cherries quietly perky. She couldn't help but squeeze her voluptuous thighs together. She even felt a wetness between her thighs. She stooped and threw a checking glance at Shuryen's lower body. Seeing the lifting shaft, she shivered and she almost groaned. "It's all right," Shiryen beamed at her with meaningful eyes. He looked at her peerless appearance that could make any man crazy. He looked into her aroused, watery eyes. "You little seductress," he hissed, and the knots on her tight garments exploded. Her snow-white, perfect body emerged like the most delicate, exquisite masterpiece of art. Shiryen leaned against her. Meiji was like a beautiful snake that entangled and hugged him as if she hated that she couldn't melt hers into his. Although she cultivated ice power Upanishad, at this moment, she was like a burning flame that had ignited and burned Shiryen's torrential desire. She had delivered him to the most beautiful scene. Each woman of the Phantom clan was the top treasure every man had yearned for. Meiji was the prominent expert of the Phantom clan. Of course, she was good at enchanting technique and even the secret sexual techniques. As she was serving him, the comfort and relaxation he got were what the other men had ever dreamt for. After this intimate time, the two bodies were still stuck on each other. Meiji's body was white and smooth like the top-quality jade. However, she was glowing in a mesmerizing, scarlet halo. Waves of strange lights emitted on her creamy body as she quivered slightly. After entering the territory Ancestor realm, Meiji had slowly accumulated her god power. She needed at least several thousand years to reach the bottleneck to the next realm. If she was ordinary, she would need more time. At this moment, as Meiji and Shiryen were amorous, she found warm currents flowing into her lower abdomen. She had accumulated her god power quickly. Although she had known that she could harvest a lot of good things through the romantic and erotic moments, when it actually happened, Meiji was still thrilled. She knew that it was her biggest fortune to stay with Shiryen. "So beautiful," she moaned and mumbled. Her white arms twisted around Shiryen's neck. Her breath was like an orchid fragrance. "You're more beautiful." Shiryen beamed dearly, his hand wandering around her round, but cheeks. All the negative feelings were released. "It's really wonderful." The power Upanishad symbol tower? His tone changed happily, his eyes thrilled. "What happened?" Meiji was startled. She parted from him a bit and looked at him in the eyes. "The power Upanishad symbol tower has changed." Shiryen was filled with a sudden joy. He sat up and let Meiji sit on his lap. He closed his eyes and released the soul consciousness to check the mysterious features of the power Upanishad symbol tower. He wanted to know what had happened to it. Chapter 1511. The Original Symbol Embryo. Chapter 1511. The Original Symbol Embryo. According to the experts who knew the features of the power Upanishad symbol tower, it was a tool that the absolute beginning creatures used to create an absolute beginning original symbol. In this recent era, there was no complete power Upanishad symbol tower. The absolute beginning original symbol was usually a supernatural power of a power Upanishad, a principle of nature. It was the utmost appearance of a power Upanishad. For example, a straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. It was a theorem. The absolute beginning original symbol was more magical than that. It contained the theorems of a power Upanishad. To the warriors with the relevant power Upanishad, getting a supernatural power from the absolute beginning original symbol meant having the utmost understanding of that power Upanishad. It helped the warriors advance their cultivation further. The power Upanishad symbol tower created the absolute beginning original symbol. It was a complicated and struggling process. First, they needed to collect the souls cultivating the same power Upanishad. They had to start from the lowest realm to the highest realm, slowly melting them. It took a lot of time indeed. That's what Shiryen knew about the absolute beginning original symbol. However, at this moment, Shiryen was using the soul consciousness to check the power Upanishad symbol tower. He found the power Upanishad symbol tower on his co-soul become giant. It had hundreds of levels, and the level at the very bottom had brilliant light that moved like tentacles. The pure energy from his acupuncture points was attracted to the power Upanishad symbol tower. It became beams of electricity that got into the lowest level of the tower. The soul energy from the black hole also diffused and reached that level of the tower. The mysterious changes happened at this moment. From the lowest level, the windows that kept the souls inside the Power Upanishad symbol tower lit up one after another from the bottom to the top. At first, the hundreds-leveled tower lit up the windows at a normal pace. However, as more pure energy poured into the tower, the windows lit up faster. At first glance, this giant tower was like a skyscraper that had lights switched on that made the entire tower shine dazzlingly. A chunk of turbulent air wiggled in each window. Then, it became a magical tadpole symbol that changed continuously. Atop the tower, an ivory substance that was between a liquid and rigid state hovered. Like a moon, it emitted immense light. It showed magic as if it could become an absolute beginning original symbol. The original symbol Embryo. A strange term flashed in his head. Shuryen was bewildered for a moment before he could get it. It was Desolate's memory in his co-soul. Desolate knew that ivory substance. That thing was the original symbol Embryo, which could become the real absolute beginning original symbol with a specific Power Upanishad. This Power Upanishad symbol tower was more magical than he had thought. Also, apparently, it was different from the Power Upanishad symbol tower Meiji, Montesi, and Hiro knew. The tower didn't require collecting souls of warriors cultivating the same Power Upanishads to create the absolute beginning original symbol. When it got enough god power and soul power, it could create the original symbol Embryo, which the owner could mark with an attribute of Power Upanishad to create a new absolute beginning original symbol. He was so stimulated that he didn't mind his naked body. Meiji's beautiful eyes had a strange light while her round rear end was on his lap. Her two hands were placed against his broad torso, her face red. Using the soul consciousness to check for a while, Shuryen could confirm that it was the original symbol Embryo that could become a real absolute beginning original symbol. However, he wasn't so sure if it was safe or not. He hesitated and didn't carve his Power Upanishad or Meiji's Power Upanishad in it. Pondering for a while, he thought about Emperor Sea Shark. He opened his eyes and asked Meiji to put on her clothes. He shrouded black brocade robes around his body. The Power Upanishad symbol tower has some marvelous changes. It seems like it has an original symbol Embryo now. If we carve an attribute of a Power Upanishad on it, it will become a new absolute beginning original symbol. How can it be? Meiji was dumbstruck. I heard from my granny that it was very complicated to create an absolute beginning original symbol. I've told you before. It requires warriors with the same Power Upanishad from an entire territory. Their Power Upanishad will accumulate and fuse with each other. Eventually, a new absolute beginning original symbol will be produced. I have never heard about that original symbol Embryo that you talked about. Are you sure? Her face changed as she said, "Don't try it out. What if it goes wrong?" I feel like I have a 70% chance of success, Shuryen looked earnest. Although there are a lot of souls of low-realm warriors, the energy they provide isn't much. Anyway, the number of low-realm warriors is huge. This time, I swallowed the high-realm warriors. Most of them were at original god realm and incipient god realm. Many more were at immortal realm. In other words, the Power Upanishad symbol tower needs energy. With a lot of energy, it can create the original symbol Embryo. The memories I got about the absolute beginning original symbol comes from Desolate. I think there is nothing skeptical about it. I still think it's not good. Meiji was uneasy. Thus, I intend to use Emperor Sea Shark's Power Upanishad to try. If it works, it's my compensation to Emperor Sea Shark. Let's see if he wants to try, Shuryen smiled. I'm confident, anyway. Thus, he went out of the barriers. Holding Meiji's hand, he turned into two jets of light and reappeared in the center of the algae mass. The area was cleaned and some bloodstains were left on the glass in the corner. However, worthy subordinates were gone. Oh, you guys, Emperor Sea Shark was skeptical when he saw Shuryen. He could feel the immense life energy magnetic field from them, which had become fiercer. As their life energy magnetic field changed, Shuryen and Meiji's had advanced further. He was a territory ancestor, so he could feel any change of energy, even if it was minute. Thus, he was discreetly frightened. Emperor Sea Shark, I have an opportunity for you, but I wonder if you want to try. Shuryen took a deep breath and explained his idea. I don't know why, but after I'd swallowed Worthy and Kambe's troops, the energy I got was poured into the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower. And now, the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower in my soul altar has produced an original symbol Embryo. The original symbol Embryo can become any attribute. We just need to imprint out Power Upanishad on it, and it will become the absolute beginning original symbol of our Power Upanishad. But it's strange. I don't know the result. That's why I ask if you're interested in this. Pausing for a while, he said seriously, I understand that when you part a proportion of your Power Upanishad, it will lower your realm if you fail. Thus, I want to remind you, it's risky. High risks also meant high benefits. According to his method, if he failed, Emperor Sea Shark's realm would decrease and his soul would be hurt. It would be a terrible strike to Emperor Sea Shark. Similarly, if it worked and that original symbol Embryo had become the absolute beginning original symbol of Water Power Upanishad, taking that absolute beginning original symbol, Emperor Sea Shark's Power Upanishad and realm would grow greatly. It would enable him to understand the rules and theorems of his Water Power Upanishad. His competence would rocket, and it would secure his chance to enter second sky of Territory Ancestor Realm. This enticement was so moving. I have only one question. Are you sure about this? Emperor Sea Shark was solemn. He rose his hand to stop Shinrun, Hu Jiao, and Daduk, asking them to keep quiet. His eyes were fixed on Shuryen's face. Around 60 or 70%, said Shuryen honestly. Good enough. Emperor Sea Shark shivered. But then, he said, wait a second. He squinted and signaled Shinrun, Hu Jiao, and Daduk to stay silent. He drew a crystal-clear water drop from his soul altar. That water drop was thumb-sized with sounds of murmuring water. As soon as it appeared, the warriors with Water Power Upanishad in this area were touched as if they had just seen the profound meaning of Water Power Upanishad. That water drop was the essence of Emperor Sea Shark's Power Upanishad at the Territory Ancestor Realm. It slowly flew towards Shuryen. Afterward, Emperor Sea Shark paled. He sat down and took deep breaths to steady his condition. He hissed, please help. I will do my best. Shuryen knew how big Emperor Sea Shark's hope was and how much he had trusted him when he gave out this drop of water. He suddenly felt heavy and tense because of Emperor Sea Shark's trust. He used his soul consciousness to cover that water drop and pull it into his soul altar. Meiji, Hu Jiao, Daduk, and Shinrun held their breaths and focused on him. They didn't dare to breathe heavily as they shot their bright eyes toward Shuryen. They understood clearly that if Shuryen failed, that drop of water wouldn't return to its rightful owner. Then, Emperor Sea Shark would be damaged severely. He could fall from the Territory Ancestor Realm to first sky of Immortal Realm. Hu Jiao clenched his fists, his fingernail digging into his palms, bleeding. It looked like he didn't feel pain. His heart beat frantically as if it wanted to jump out of his chest. He knew that the entire Sea Clan relied on Emperor Sea Shark's realm. As long as Emperor Sea Shark was strong, their future would be secure. If Emperor Sea Shark's realm downgraded, what would wait for them would be their extinction. This time, they killed Worthy and Kambe so they couldn't stand on the same side with the Soul Clan and the Ancient Monster Clan. If the two clans knew Emperor Sea Shark's realm downgraded, they wouldn't have a chance to survive. Meiji was also tense. She worried that Shuryen would encounter trouble because her knowledge about the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower was completely different from what Shuryen had just told her. She understood that the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower had fused with Shuryen's soul. If something happened to it, Shuryen's soul would perish altogether. She became restlessly worried. Chapter 15:12, To the Heart's Content, Staying at Present. Chapter 15:12, To the Heart's Content, Staying at Present, _ Bringing someone's seal of Power Upanishad into one's soul was an extremely risky deed. He trusted that Emperor Sea Shark would send a part of his Power Upanishad to Shuryen. At the same time, Shuryen at his peak of Immortal Realm dared to guide Emperor Sea Shark's Power Upanishad to his soul altar. Didn't that mean he trusted Emperor Sea Shark? If Emperor Sea Shark had another idea and fought Shuryen in his soul altar, Shuryen wouldn't be able to endure it. his soul would get hurt badly too. The transparent water drop fell into Shuryan's sea of consciousness. The soul pond in his sea of consciousness emitted dark energy right away. The power Upanishads in his soul altar could smell the aura of the intruder. They became cautious and wanted to attack that thumb-sized water drop. Focusing, he continuously asked himself to relax and quiet down. He had to do that to calm down his power Upanishads and his restless mind. Slowly, the water drop drifted above the sea of consciousness and the soul pond, floating up towards the power Upanishad symbol tower and heading to the top. Shuryan said that he was 70% sure, and he didn't lie. Through Desolate's memories and his own observations, he assumed that the original symbol Embryo atop the power Upanishad symbol tower could create the Upanishad original symbol. However, he wasn't sure if it could work to the insider like Emperor Sea Shark. Thus, he said that he was just 70% sure. The water drop swayed. Shrouded in Shuryan's soul, it finally fell onto the peak of the giant tower and tried to enter the original symbol Embryo. Boom! The resisting force came from the original symbol Embryo, which seemed to have its own life. Also, that aura magically had a subtle connection with Shuryan. Shuryan knew that the original symbol Embryo instinctively boycotted the water drop of power Upanishad because it knew that it wasn't Shuryan's power Upanishad. Shuryan was startled. As he knew it wasn't all right, he hurried to part his soul consciousness. He poured a wisp of his soul consciousness into the water drop of Emperor Sea Shark's power Upanishad. He had to notify Emperor Sea Shark to persuade him to prevent misunderstanding, which would hinder him from entering the water drop. Emperor Sea Shark paled. At this moment, he was tense and his face changed oddly. Hu Jiao and Meiji furrowed their brows. They were anxious because they didn't know what could happen. Instinctively, Meiji went close to Shuryan and gathered her god power. She was ready to protect Shuryan in any case. Similarly, the experts of the Sea Clan, including Hu Jiao, Shinren, and Daduk, also approached Emperor Sea Shark. As soon as Emperor Sea Shark ordered, they were going to take action immediately. Everybody turned to Emperor Sea Shark and noticed Shuryan's moves. When they saw Emperor Sea Shark calm down after furrowing his brows, they also ceased. Emperor Sea Shark relaxing also calmed the air in this area. People exhaled, their faces strange. It should be all right. Emperor Sea Shark shrugged as he relaxed and reluctantly smiled. Madame Meiji, as you and Shuryan are together, you don't know how many men in the sea area have gone crazy because of that. Meiji was one of the most beautiful experts of the Phantom Clan, and the Phantom Clan was famous for the treasure-like women. The number of warriors from different clans in the Sea of Annihilation who had admired Meiji in the Sea of Annihilation was almost innumerable. If they knew she had lost her virginity to Shuryan and had always served him well, they would have been crazily indignant. He wants me. It's my pleasure. Meiji curled her lips and stroked her hair enchantingly. She smiled and then said, "His mystery is something that no woman can resist. He can make any woman crazy." Before she understood Shuryan, she had been at the peak of immortal realm. However, she didn't have dark energy at that time, and she had been wounded severely too. Within 100 years, she had broken through to territory Ancestor realm. Also, the god power in her body accumulated. She got so many benefits. Except for Shuryan, who could give her all that. She remembered the struggle she had to endure as she was trying to perceive the marvels of dark energy. Montesi had also considered her an item to trade for more benefits. If Batum hadn't been killed and she didn't get dark energy, she would have been tied to a marriage with Batum. Although she appreciated Montesi, she understood that Montesi wasn't the one who had given her all that she had today. It was Shuryan. Without Shuryan, the Phantom Clan wouldn't have had a new territory ancestor. She wouldn't have been here today. As she didn't have dark energy, Montesi wouldn't have used the enormous amount of precious cultivating materials of the clan to nourish her. Anyway, the Phantom Clan still had several peak of immortal realm like her. Meiji wasn't their only choice. As Meiji was absorbed in her thoughts, Emperor Sea Shark suddenly moved, his eyes shooting dazzling light. At the same time, clear sounds of murmuring water came from Shuryan's body as if Shuryan had many rivers running rapidly inside his body. The magical mysteries of water power Upanishad was the supple water that had appeared perfectly on Shuryen. People focused and saw Shuryen's god power move like water inside Shuryen's veins, magical steam fuming from his 7 natural facial holes. They were amazed, indeed. Emperor Beseech Shark breathed heavily. He couldn't suppress his excitement, his voice trembling. Works. It works. When Shuryen sent him the message to ask him to release the control he had on that water drop, he was hesitant. He pondered and then agreed. And now, he understood that only when the water drop, his power Upanishad essence, had Shuryen's aura could it enter the power Upanishad symbol tower. While the murmuring water sounds continued, a 5-colored, transparent water drop shrouding a magical symbol flew out of Shuryen's left eye. That transparent water drop was shining, revealing the Upanishad original symbol inside, which had a seal that said, "Water," written in absolute beginning language. As soon as that water drop appeared, the rivers, the lakes, and seas in Emperor Beseech Shark's territory seemed to have lives instantly. Emperor Beseech Shark was touched. He greedily looked at that water drop and was so excited. He mumbled continuously, "The water Upanishad original symbol. Supernatural power. A supernatural power." At this moment, Hu Jiao, Daduk, Shinren, and many warriors of the Sea clan had their eyes brightened. They were all thrilled. They understood that Emperor Beseech Shark's competence would thrive shortly after he got the Upanishad original symbol. He would have a big chance to break through to second sky of territory ancestor realm. An Upanishad original symbol was enough to bring Emperor Beseech Shark to a better world. Emperor Beseech Shark was their hope. His bright future was also their bright future. How could they not be thrilled? Hu Jiao, Daduk, and some young members of the clan hated Shuryen even after he had killed a lot of members of the Ancient Monster clan and the Soul clan. They didn't care about Shuryen, anyway. However, at this moment, the resentment and discontent they had for Shuryen had all gone with the appearance of the Upanishad original symbol. When they looked at Shuryen, they had only appreciation and admiration in their eyes. They finally trusted Shuryen as a friend and even a benefactor. As people were panting excitedly, Emperor Beseech Shark slowly took the water drop and pulled it into his soul altar. The water drop now had an Upanishad original symbol, a supernatural power of his power Upanishad. As soon as it came to his soul altar, it immediately fused perfectly with a bigger water drop. A new theorem of water power Upanishad was established in his soul. His soul shook as if it had just received a brand new inheritance of the power Upanishad. Emperor Beseech Shark's eyes became as bright as stars as he was quietly sensing his new, magical power Upanishad and the growth of his realm. People observed him with keen eyes. Only Meiji was holding Shuryen's hand and speaking tenderly, "Are you okay?" Shuryen smiled and shook his head. "It's all right. I'm okay. It feels really good. I also got the chance to check the features of the water power Upanishad. With this experience, I can refine more original symbols. Haha, I can't believe this power Upanishad symbol tower is so interesting." Meiji was excited too. Shuryen could use Emperor Beseech Shark to create a water original symbol. Similarly, as long as he had enough energy, he could refine an ice Upanishad original symbol, which was suitable for Meiji. The Upanishad original symbol was also a supernatural power. If Meiji got the ice Upanishad original symbol, her competence would increase greatly. After a long time, Emperor Beseech Shark had steadied his condition. His eyes brightened as he smiled. His worried face had finally disappeared like vanishing smoke. He cried out, "Hu Jiao! Bring wine! Bring us our best wine! I have to drink with Shuryen today." Bold. Hu Jiao had changed his attitude towards Shuryen. He friendly patted Shuryen's shoulder as he smiled. "Bro, you have to give us space today. You have to drink with me too." "Me too," Dada cried. This time, the resentment they had for Shuryen was cleared and only gratitude and compliments were left. "Okay, come drink with me." Shuryen grinned. "Then, we have to go to the territory entrance and enjoy a fierce battle too." "Enjoy a fierce battle," clamored the others. Meiji's eyes showed that she was smiling. She didn't talk them out of this as she knew they were excited. "Enjoy yourself. I'm going to check around. If something happens, I will tell you. What a good wife. Haha. It was the first time Emperor Sea Shark teased Meiji. He was too excited like everybody else. All was because of an Upanishad original symbol. Meiji smiled beautifully and left. She knew that at their realms, even if they drank a lot of wine, they could sober up within a second. Thus, she wasn't worried. She just needed to check around and alert them when they got trouble. In the center of the algae mass, the Sea Clan people were drinking cheerfully. They all came to drink with Shiryen. Shiryen didn't deny anyone. While drinking the delicious wine, he had thrown away all the burdens and just enjoyed this moment. Chapter 1513, A Random Encounter. Chapter 1513, A Random Encounter, _ Mysterious Forbidden Land, Sea of Annihilation Seabed. So many whirlpools were connected to each other like clusters of clouds. All of them had dangerous auras that scared away many explorers in this Sea of Annihilation. Because no one knew where those massive whirlpools would lead them. Some thought they had profound realms which could enable them to discover the secrets of those whirlpools. They came and went missing forever. The experts at the Territory Ancestor realm had restrained their subordinates and fellows, asking them not to wander here. But today, a group of famous characters had gathered here just like Monesi and Hero before and were waiting by the vortexes. They were the experts from the 5 clans. They came here because Edgar had invited them. They summoned their forces and brought the hotshots of their clans in formations. This group included Neptune of the Soul Clan, Farrell and Beverly of the Ancient Monster Clan, Oliver of the Black Demon Clan, and Judy of the Mysterious Sky Clan. Neptune, Farrell, and Oliver were at First Sky of Territory Ancestor Realm. Judy and Beverly were at Second Sky of Territory Ancestor Realm. Like forefather Han Tian, Judy was also a legend of the Mysterious Sky Clan. Beverly of the Ancient Monster Clan was like Edgar. He was one of the 10 great Territory ancestors. He was also the strongest expert of the Ancient Monster Clan. Standing by Beverly, Farrell became gingerly. There were 3 Second Sky of Territory Ancestor Realm experts and 3 First Sky of Territory Ancestor Realm experts here. Besides, this group also had hundreds of Immortal Realm experts and almost 1,000 Incipient God Realm experts. This big force came from the 5 great clans. They were here because of the Territory entrance. Edgar, how did you know the Desolate Territory's entrance is in one of those whirlpools? Asked Beverly of the Ancient Monster Clan as soon as she came, her face dark and sinister. Beverly had a snake body. When her green eyes gazed at the others, they were spooky and chilling. Anyway, she had a sexy body with hot curves and an especially thrusting bosom. The 2 round breasts covered in the chest plate seemed to want to break her armor to get some air. She also had a delicate, oval face, but she didn't smile or talk much. With a cold face, she gave people a distant and concealing feeling. Judy of the Mysterious Sky Clan hovered by Beverly. Judy wore bright costumes with real flowers. She looked elegant and relaxed with a faint smile, which made her look around 30 years old. Tu Shirchi and Yayun were on Judy's side. Judy was Yayun's aunt. They had a close relationship. Our ancestor is back. He showed us this territory entrance. Edgar came alone. He didn't bring any fellows. The Devouring clan failed in Desolate Territory and Desolate hadn't recovered yet. The Devouring clan was affected badly. At this moment, they had to focus on healing Devour, so they couldn't come here with Edgar. Because of this reason, Edgar initially connected with the Soul Clan, the Mysterious Sky Clan, the Dark Demon Clan, and the Ancient Monster Clan. He made them gather here with their hotshots. If we aren't sure, Ancient Monster Clan wouldn't have come first. Edgar, you said that it's the correct entrance. Get in there first, Beverly sneered. Montesi and Hero could be there. My ancestor said that they have come to Desolate Territory. Edgar cursed them in his head, but his face remained calm. He turned to look at Beverly. Montesi. Hero. Beverly hissed. Judy and Neptune discolored and frowned. Neptune and Farrell were extremely frightened. They still remembered that Montesi had sought for them for a long time. She had declared that he would kill Neptune and Farrell when she met them. At this moment, Montesi was the person Neptune and Farrell didn't want to meet the most. If they had known Mondesi was in the Sea of Annihilation, they wouldn't dare to return. What are you afraid of? Beverly snorted and coldly glared at Farrell. Mondesi is at second sky of territory ancestor. If she dares attack you, I'm sure I won't stand and stare. Farrell smiled embarrassedly and didn't explain. Something is wrong. Neptune suddenly screamed. He turned to face a direction, his eyes dark. Worthy is dead. I think Cambay is gone too. He and Worthy had a soul connection. If both of them used their soul energy at the same time, they could talk to each other within a specific distance. At this moment, when Neptune tried to connect to Worthy, he found that the soul connection between them was cut off from Worthy's side. Neptune immediately recognized the seriousness of the matter. How could it be? Farrell shook his head, his face still relaxed. Emperor Sea Shark is in desolate territory, isn't he? Hu Jiao and Dadak can't be Worthy and Cambay's equal opponents. Nothing bad could happen to them, right? I'm sure Worthy is dead. Neptune shouted each word. Farrell discolored. Hesitating, he asked Beverly for permission. Can I go there to check? Okay, agreed Beverly. Farrell left hastily. Edgar and the others had come here to discuss how to enter the territory entrance. Today, hearing the bad news, they paused. They would resume the discussion when the situation was clear. A massive area of algae like a cluster of thick clouds moved fast on the seabed of the Sea of Annihilation. The warriors around the seabed looked amazed when they saw the moving tufts of algae. Some had profound realms, so they decided to use the soul consciousness to sense. They were astonished when they found the marvel inside the algae leaves. A majestic crystal palace stood imposingly inside the algae mass. Hu Jiao and Dadak had protected the palace carefully, and they had moved it to the center of the algae area. At this moment, the mass of algae headed rapidly to desolate territory's entrance. Shuryen and Emperor Sea Shark were drunk, so Meiji was in charge of watching around and giving them time to drink and enjoy. Although the members of the Sea Clan who had lost their friends and families had vented out their pressure after that bloody attack, they were still stuffed with sadness. They needed to discharge their negative feelings. They wanted to drink to relax for a while. Emperor Sea Shark knew this. He decided to use Shuryen to meet his fellow's need. He wanted to ease their pain and cheer them up when they sobered. Inside the thick mass of algae, Meiji was like a mesmerizing creature. Her soul consciousness was released through her two eyes, which were like the two deep ponds. The soul energy of the warriors reflected in her head. Most of them had low realms. Meiji didn't really mind. All of a sudden, extremely powerful life energy reflected in her head. She pulled herself together immediately. That aura was similar. Meiji became more cautious. Deep undersea, a massive figure like a dragon or a lizard slowly emerged. It was like a mountain of flesh. While approaching, it slowly shrank. It was like when an elephant had become a tiny ant. Slowly, that creature had transformed into human form. It was Forefather Dragon Lizard. Meiji changed her face. Looking at Forefather Dragon Lizard in the distance, she closed her eyes to sense, her aura sharp. It wasn't Forefather Dragon Lizard's clone that came here. He had come with his true body. Today, Forefather Dragon Lizard had reached Territory Ancestor Realm 2, the same realm with Meiji. Since Dragon Lizard was a direct descendant of Absolute Beginning Creature Lizard, his life energy magnetic field was more enormous, and his body was exploding more than those of normal races. In other words, Forefather Dragon Lizard wasn't weaker than Meiji now. Meiji, is that you? Forefather Dragon Lizard's surprised scream arose. He pulled a serious face and looked at that mass of algae. Judy of the mysterious Sky Clan had invited him to come here from the Dragon Lizard Star. After 100 years, Han Tian and Judy had helped Forefather Dragon Lizard. With the materials from the mysterious Sky Clan, he finally got dark energy. Just like Meiji, he had entered Territory Ancestor Realm. He owed the mysterious Sky Clan. Thus, when Judy asked him to come, he couldn't deny her request. As he had just reached the Territory Ancestor Realm, he could shrink his real body and appear in his human form. He came with his real body this time. Seeing Meiji, he was surprised. He stopped as he was a distance away from the algae mass and asked, "Why are you here? How about you?" Why are you here? Meiji didn't answer and just asked. Madame Judy of the mysterious Sky Clan asked me to come to the Sea of Annihilation. She said that something very important is about to happen and that they needed my power. That's why I come here with my true body. Forefather Dragon Lizard pondered for a while. He suddenly realized something and asked, "Before I came here, I heard that Edgar had connected with the experts from different clans. He said that he wanted to discuss something. Is it related to you?" Looking at the algae mass, he closed his eyes to sense and then paled. Is Shurian there too? Yes, I get it. Forefather Dragon Lizard forced a smile. It's the same stuff. They're still hungry for Shurian's power Upanishad symbol tower. They're here because of it, I assume. As Edgar, Judy, and Beverly are here, even if that terrifying absolute beginning creature comes this time, it can't protect Shurian. I think you should leave immediately. Don't linger in the Sea of Annihilation. Hearing him, Meiji was puzzled. Who do you support? Of course, I have to support the mysterious Sky Clan. Our Dragon Lizard clan has joined the mysterious Sky Clan. But that kid Shurian saved me before. Without him, Singh would have killed me successfully. I owe him a favor. Forefather Dragon Lizard took a deep breath and waved his hand. Just say that we have never met here. Yeah, just consider that I have never come here. Then, Forefather Dragon Lizard was about to leave. Forefather Dragon Lizard, don't you want to know how Lizard died? However, at this moment, Shurian's voice arose from the algae mass and stopped Forefather Dragon Lizard. Chapter 1514, Do Not Return. Chapter 1514, Do Not Return, _. Many years ago, the absolute beginning creature lizard had left the sea domain of nihility to the outer territory to find a level 7 life star to refine the immortal pellet. He had disappeared ever since. A long time after that, Dragon Lizard felt his aura perish. He had followed the connection of his bloodline to find Lizard's remains in a territory outside the sea domain of nihility. He also found immortal pellets from Lizard's remains. Dragon Lizard understood that if Lizard didn't go that year, he would have reached territory Ancestor Realm a long time ago. Also, the Dragon Lizard clan wouldn't have been a second-class clan. It would have become one of the 7 great clans. The loss of his ancestor was a terrible pain in Dragon Lizard's heart. After many years, he had always paid attention to finding the causes of his ancestor's death. However, he got nothing until now. Shurian's voice came from deep inside the algae mass. Forefather Dragon Lizard was dumbstruck, his eyes shooting divine light. Did you know? He hissed. Was here for a while, said Shurian indifferently. Meiji furrowed her bold brows. She stepped aside to let Forefather Dragon Lizard in. Dragon Lizard wasn't afraid. He entered the algae mass. Meiji led him directly to Shurian and Emperor Sea Shark. Dragon Lizard had reached territory Ancestor Realm. As a direct descendant of an absolute beginning creature, his blood chi was like an erupting volcano and was really terrifying. The life energy that fluctuated from him made low-realm sea clan members shiver and tremble. Emperor Sea Shark looked stern. He hurried to sense the fierce energy from Forefather Dragon Lizard. He changed his visage eventually. He couldn't estimate Forefather Dragon Lizard's new physical competence after he had entered the territory Ancestor Realm. As Emperor Sea Shark had contacted many territory ancestors, he found that some experts, even at second sky of territory Ancestor Realm, didn't have fierce blood chi like him. A cool soul consciousness flashed in Shurian's head to wash the side effects of the alcohol away. Shurian's clear eyes saw Forefather Dragon Lizard. He couldn't help but smile. You've finally reached the territory Ancestor Realm. Forefather Dragon Lizard grinned reluctantly. As he was about to answer Shurian, he was surprised as he screamed, Kid, you've reached the peak of Immortal Realm. Thanks to your grace, shrugged Shurian. 100 years ago, when he and Audrey came to the sea domain of nihility, he had had only the incipient God Realm. Now, because he got an immortal pellet from Forefather Dragon Lizard, he had reached Immortal Realm. After 100 years, a short course to experts like him, he had reached the peak of Immortal Realm. In Forefather Dragon Lizard's eyes, this kind of rapid progress was unimaginable. I can't believe that the weak warrior that year has reached such a high attainment today. You've become a character that can shake up the entire Sea of Annihilation, Forefather Dragon Lizard appraised. He suddenly changed the topic. Do you know how my ancestor died? His face turned stern. Emperor Sea Shark and Meiji were astonished too. The riddle of Lizard's death was also one of the mysteries that Meiji was concerned about for many years, as she was in charge of collecting intelligence of the Phantom Clan. Even the Phantom Clan didn't have a clue about this. How could Shiryen know? Facing Meiji's skeptical eyes, Shiryen smiled and explained, "Well, of course. I don't know the details, but I used to chat with Dracula of the Whitebone clan. I got some clues from him. Dracula was the little skeleton's father who had been dormant for tens of thousands of years. He was one of the famous characters of the previous generation in the sea domain of Nihility. He was like hero of the Whitebone clan, the precursor of the territory ancestors of this era. Dracula told me something about the absolute beginning creatures. He previously mentioned your ancestor Lizard. He said that Lizard's death could be related to someone called Sauron." Shiryen frowned as he remembered what Dracula had said. Sauron. Sauron. Meiji and Emperor Sea Shark screamed in fear. Dracula didn't tell me that Sauron did that. He just said that Sauron knew the immortal pellets formula and he knew that formula belonged to Lizard," said Shiryen. After Forefather Dragon Lizard heard the name Sauron, he pondered for a short time. When Shiryen mentioned the immortal pellets formula, he said coldly, "So it does relate to Sauron indeed. Sauron is not a member of the 7 great clans. He's a human. He's from the clan with the biggest population in the Sea of Stars. He's also one of the 10 great territory ancestors. Moreover, he's the most mysterious one. Usually, he won't show up for hundreds of years. He's like a dragon whose tail is always hidden. Oh right, it has been 1,000 years since he came to the sea domain of Nihility. No one knows where he is," said Meiji. "Dracula knows a lot about Sauron. If you're interested, you can talk to Dracula then," said Shiryen. "Who's Dracula?" Forefather Dragon Lizard was puzzled. "A dormant expert of the Whitebone clan. I awakened him. He's Hero's precursor," Shiryen smiled. "Hero's precursor?" Forefather Dragon Lizard looked bitter. "I don't have a chance to meet a character like Hero, let alone his precursor." "Then, I will help you ask him when I get the chance," Shiryen contemplated, and then said, "Heir. Judy of the mysterious Sky Clan invited you here. I'm afraid it's because of me." "I understand. You should leave the Sea of Annihilation as soon as possible. This time, they've gathered many hotshots. Even if you reach the peak of Immortal Realm, you can't handle them." Forefather Dragon Lizard sighed. "I can't stay here for long. If someone knows, it will be a lot of trouble to the Dragon Lizard clan." His eyes raked through the Sea Clan members and he sighed again. He knew what had happened to Hu Jiao, Dadak, and the others. He knew Emperor Sea Shark's competence couldn't resist an attack from any clan of the 5 clans. He shouldn't be careless and cause trouble to his fellows. Then, he left the algae mass. Emperor Sea Shark didn't stop him and asked his subordinates to let him go. Forefather Dragon Lizard flew away from the mass of algae. "Dragon Lizard, mysterious Sky Clan servant," feral mocking voice came from afar. In the dark area of seawater not far from them, so many lightning balls were moving and surrounding Feral. That entire sea area was overwhelmed by the scorching electricity. Many creatures there were electrocuted and they got charred. He had been there for more than 15 minutes and observed the algae mass. He knew it was a shelter of the Sea Clan. Feral didn't act rashly. He observed and reported Beverly of the Ancient Monster Clan the situation that he had discovered. If nothing unexpected, Edgar and Beverly should take action now. What surprised Feral was that Dragon Lizard, a distinguished guest of the mysterious Sky Clan, was there too. The fact that Dragon Lizard had broken through to the territory ancestor realm spread out everywhere in the sea domain of Nihility. Han Tian and Judy had announced to the other forces that Dragon Lizard was one of their external experts. The Dragon Lizard clan members could stand upright in the vast sea of stars. They also felt proud. The members of Earth Ghoul tribe and the Water clan near Dragon Lizard Star would instinctively avoid the members of the Dragon Lizard clan. They didn't want to create a dispute with the others. Everything was because the Dragon Lizard clan had joined the mysterious Sky clan, and because of Dragon Lizard's territory ancestor realm. Finally, the Dragon Lizard clan had the chance to rise up. It's true that things you're afraid of will come after you. Forefather Dragon Lizard was cautious as he was afraid that someone would figure it out. He didn't expect Feral to find him right away when he had just left. He was startled and he felt heavily pressured when things went wrong. I'm sure Emperor Sea Shark is in that tuft of algae. You dare to join them. Mahaha. It seems that you didn't put your master mysterious Sky clan in your consideration. Feral laughed oddly. Forefather Dragon Lizard's eyes turned red. He was like an enraged beast gazing at Feral. He roared, I didn't ask you to poke your nose into my business. Oh, you want to kill me to shut my mouth? Feral mocked darkly. By yourself? You've just entered the territory ancestor realm and you dare to talk arrogantly. Roar! Forefather Dragon Lizard roared and his body moved. Flaming lava burst out from him. He transformed shortly after and returned to his giant dragon-like lizard body. At this moment, he was like a scarlet flesh mountain, roaring under the sea and showing his bold intimidation. His giant body barged into the lightning area that Feral had created. Rumble, 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 boom, boom, boom. The lightning balls exploded. The blinding electric arc was running across the area. Forefather Dragon Lizard's massive body came directly to the lightning balls, which made him have electric beams crawling on his body. However, he seemed to not take any damage. He thundered and raised his giant claw to snatch Feral. At the same time, inside the algae mass, Shiryen, Meiji, and Emperor Sea Shark emerged. They all wore cold faces and looked at Feral. Shiryen was also surprised. He didn't expect that Feral would come here. As Feral was at the territory ancestor realm, if he hid his aura, people couldn't find him from a long distance. Shiryen, Meiji, and Emperor Sea Shark loathed Feral a lot. Feral had terminated the Phantom Clan's base in the Sea of Annihilation and killed Meiji's subordinates. He had even chased after Emperor Sea Shark's fellows. This time, Feral was also behind the deaths of many Sea Clan warriors. Seeing Forefather Dragon Lizard take action, Shiryen, Meiji, and Emperor Sea Shark exchanged looks. Then, they all took action. Meiji, Emperor Sea Shark, Shiryen. Feral discolored. He screamed and gave up fighting against Forefather Dragon Lizard, turning into a jet of light running away. He was at the territory ancestor realm, but he didn't hesitate and left without turning his head back to check. When Shiryen and Emperor Sea Shark had reacted, Feral had turned into 10 jets of light and shot into different directions. When they pulled themselves together to check where Feral's true body went, they found that Feral had gone pretty far. Slowly, his aura disappeared. Forefather Dragon Lizard turned into his real body as he thundered, "You would damage me badly this time. If nothing unexpected happens, the enemy will come soon." I think Feral has sent the news away. Meiji took a deep breath. We have to reunite with the others soon. Do you know a shortcut? Of course, yes. Shiryen smiled and said confidently, last time, I didn't use the best space power Upanishad in the seabed because my realm wasn't high enough. But now, I can try. Everyone's eyes brightened. Chapter 1515, Great Seal. Chapter 1515, Great Seal, _. The Sea of Annihilation was millions of miles deep and the water pressure at the seabed could break the bodies of warriors even at ethereal god realm. Incipient god realm and immortal realm experts didn't dare to come to some dangerous areas. Using space energy in this place, the space pressure and water pressure colliding could create a terrible catastrophe. That's why the warriors with space power Upanishad at normal realms didn't dare to use their power rashly. Even Minghao had to shiver. While fighting against others in this area, he only used the soul control power Upanishad. Are you sure? Emperor Sea Shark was insecure, his face grave. 100 years ago, you acted rashly undersea. You made the seabed shrink a lot. This time, don't cause more trouble, his face turned grimaced. Hearing him, people became awkward. They had all participated in that event. Remembering the great change in the seabed during that battle, they were still panicked. Yen was the one who made the Sea of Annihilation shrink. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure this time. Yen gave a forced smile and didn't explain further. He signaled Emperor Sea Shark to ask him to cooperate by condensing the algae mass. Emperor Sea Shark nodded. Hundreds of clear streams like the water snakes flew out of Emperor Sea Shark's loose leaves and swam away. Those water snakes acted like a rope that tied the mass of algae. The algae field shrank. As people were gazing at it, the area was reduced twice and continued to resize. Yen wasn't idle. Waves of space energy rippled from his body. As everybody else had profound realms, when they looked at him, they felt the space twist and unreal. As they were flustered, they felt their perception of life energy magnetic field vague. Meiji was around 10 warriors away from Emperor Sea Shark, but at this moment, Meiji felt that Emperor Sea Shark was pretty far from her. He was too far that her soul consciousness couldn't work. It was like Emperor Sea Shark was about to jump from one space to another. The same feeling arose in Shinrin and Emperor Sea Shark's minds. They all had felt a magical feeling when space changed greatly. After chasing Feral with a negative result, Forefather Dragon Lizard returned and transformed into his human form. Forefather Dragon Lizard was surprised. What a powerful life energy magnetic field! Yen was releasing energy. He didn't conceal his enormous energy stored in his body. The terrifying blood chi that Yen had made Forefather Dragon Lizard pale. He found that Yen's life energy wasn't less than his, and it was even higher than his in some aspects. It was over his common knowledge. Normally, absolute beginning creatures had the highest, immensely abundant vitality, and the second generation like Dragon Lizard came second. With giant bodies, their life energy magnetic field could reach a terrifying level. The creatures of the present time like Edgar, Montesi, or Hero had a high-level soul, and their life form could sublimate when their realm had reached a profound level. However, their vitality could never reach the enormous amount like absolute beginning creatures. From the appearance aspect, Yen should be from a race in this recent time, but his immense life energy magnetic field could compare to someone of the second generation like Dragon Lizard. It made him smack his tongue. Looking at Yen, Forefather Dragon Lizard felt something mysterious. He nodded quietly and left the place without notifying the others. Montesi and Emperor Sea Shark had paid attention to him. Seeing him leave, they exhaled in relief. They all understood that since Feral had found Forefather Dragon Lizard here, Forefather Dragon Lizard needed to stay away from trouble. He had to explain it to the mysterious Sky Clan. Or else it would be big trouble to himself and his clan. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. While they were pondering, a whirlpool that was like a tornado appeared above their algae mass. The black whirlpool was like the mouth of a wild, giant beast that could swallow all creatures in the world. Yen was blacked in that massive mouth. Ripples emitted from him like thousands of hands calming down the unstable energy inside the whirlpool. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. As the water pressure came, rays of light weaved into an electric net. People could hear a loud energy impact from that net. Yen suddenly opened his eyes, which were like immense starry skies. Come in. Quick. Emperor Sea Shark was moved. He sent his soul message to his fellows. Then, he churned his energy and used the power of an expert at the territory ancestor realm to grab the massive area of algae and enter the tornado. Meiji also gave him a hand. Yen was deep inside the tornado. He was using his energy to guide and ensure the stability of this space passage. Rumble, rumble, rumble. As the algae mass entered the tornado, the space passage was about to shatter. It shook hard. The terrifying energy had created so many rapid currents, which killed the souls of many warriors working around there. The other warriors who weren't killed were panic-stricken and trying to escape at their max speed. They knew that those fatal currents could break both their bodies and souls. Eventually, the algae area disappeared into the massive whirlpool. In another area where so many vortexes gathered and moved continuously, Judy of the mysterious Sky Clan, Oliver of the Black Demon Clan, and Edgar of the Devouring Clan watched those vortexes. Beverly had left when he received Feral's message. He had taken Neptune with him too. Edgar didn't leave because he knew that this place was the crucial key. All of a sudden, fierce space energy came from one of those vortexes. As soon as that space energy arose, the vortex that led to Desolate Territory entrance changed greatly. A blazing light pierced through the vortex from the Desolate Territory side. It was like a spotlight thrusting toward the sea surface. That light seemed able to cross the entire sea. While the people on this side were baffled, a blue life star with the archaic aura of chaotic time slowly emerged from the territory entrance. People gawked as if their eyeballs were about to fall out of their sockets. As soon as the life star emerged, columns of strong light gathered at its clouds layer, creating that previous fierce spotlight. The territory ancestors like Montesi, Hero, and Dracula wore solemn faces and stood on the cloud sea of that planet. The massive light columns made of pure energy were created by those experts. Hero and Montesi had created bright crystals in the middle of those columns, which were like dazzling cubic diamonds. They were the crystallized dark energy with supernatural powers. Actually, those light columns were like scattered crystals that were vaguely arrayed in a complicated, magical ancient formation. The center of the ancient formation was where the strong light emitted. It was a mysterious passage that could be changed on the left side of the territory entrance. Crack! 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 The vortex by the life star made sounds of space cracking. While people were worried, Shiryen brought Emperor Sea Shark, Meiji, and the algae mass. Shiryen! Kid, you're back. If you were a little late, we would have gone first. Hero, Dracula, and Montesi screamed in fright. As they were on the other side of the territory entrance and creating the passage to the Cloud Mist territory with a lot of efforts, they suddenly found the auras of experts at the same level on the other side. They immediately knew that something was wrong. Just like Shiryen, they guessed that Edgar had disclosed the entrance's location and invited the experts from the 5 clans. Since Hero and Montesi had just consumed a lot of energy, they wanted to avoid this direct confrontation. They became worried. While they were waiting for Shiryen, they found Edgar, Judy, and Beverly gathering more warriors. They could attack them in any minute. They discussed and decided to leave earlier. Then, they recognized Beverly had taken Neptune and some warriors, so they left. Hero and Montesi seized this chance to run. They immediately gathered their power. At the moment, this life star stormed through the territory entrance and Shiryen, Meiji, and Emperor Sea Shark had arrived. It could not be more perfect than this. Go, shouted Hero. Do not let them run away. Edgar roared. The experts of the Black Demon Clan, the Ancient Monster Clan, and the Soul Clan moved forward and tried to stop the others. Great seal technique. Montesi's petite body slightly quivered. To open the passage leading to Cloud Mist territory, she had consumed a lot of energy. Seeing the warriors swarm towards them, she hissed to Shiryen. Shiryen reacted after a second of being dazed. The secret technique that used both time and space power popped up in his head. He nodded to Montesi. All of a sudden, so many light doors appeared by his chest, which looked like they were from different spaces. They were conjured quickly. Seal space. Dark energy gushed and turned into 7 colored crystals inside those space doors. Each of them seemed to create a small world. So many spaces connected to each other and created space locks. The enormous amount of space locks appeared in the real world and locked the entire area, sealing space. Many warriors of the Soul Clan, Ancient Monster Clan, and Dark Demon Clan were frozen as space sealed their bodies. However, the warriors with high realms could use their energy to break the locks as their souls were not sealed. Seal time. At this moment, Montesi's time power Upanishad was activated. The time seal was like an invisible water stream that froze the souls. As the time prison came, those who could still move after the space lock all froze. They couldn't even move an inch. Even Oliver at the territory ancestor realm couldn't wiggle. He was sealed in just a blink of an eye. Oliver was sealed, which made many warriors behind him pale. They hesitated and didn't dare to risk their lives. Seizing the chance, Emperor Sea Shark's fellows came to Grace Mainland. Then, Grace Mainland turned into a jet of light, entering the light passage and piercing through the sea of annihilation. Edgar could only gawk at Yan's group leaving easily because he wasn't sure that he could break the Great Seal technique. Chapter 1516, Sauron. Chapter 1516, Sauron. Underscore from the center of the mill-like whirlpools, Grace Mainland moved through the fierce light passage and went far away. Edgar, Judy, and the experts of the 5 clans could only watch the planet disappear. They didn't dare to chase after it, because Oliver was still sealed over there. Oliver was a territory ancestor with a profound realm. As he was sealed, everybody else was frightened. They halted and didn't want to take risks. Except for Oliver, hundreds of incipient God Realm and Immortal Realm were sealed by the Great Seal technique. Their cells, blood, and even souls were stopped. They couldn't use a bit of their energy or even think. Pieces of space had locked bodies. Montese's waves of time seal had imprisoned people's thoughts and prevented them from using soul energy. Just like the fossils inside the rock, unless someone helped them and broke it from the outside, they couldn't get out on their own. Edgar and Judy were at second sky of Territory Ancestor Realm, but they also changed their countenances when they saw Oliver being sealed. They quietly urged their energy and sent wisps of soul consciousness to pry in that area. However, when their soul consciousness went to the sealed area, they froze altogether. Edgar and Judy exchanged looks, their faces stern. When time and space are sealed, it can stop the body and even the mind. It's really dangerous. It's lucky that Yan has only the peak of Immortal Realm cultivation base. Otherwise, the trouble would be 10 times harsher. Edgar was frightened. If Yan and Montese are at the same realm when they use this technique, they can even seal both of us. Judy added and quivered. Looking at that blue planet disappearing, Judy's eyes had a dim halo as she said, "Cloud Mist Territory." The territory between the Whitebone clan and the Phantom clan? Edgar was grave. Right, that territory was controlled by the Phantom clan for years. The territory entrance is right between the Whitebone clan and the Phantom clan. Montese's mind is connected to the territory entrance, Judy replied, and then stayed silent as if she was considering something. Edgar wore a stern face. They were waiting in silence. After Yan and Montese disappeared, Yan didn't pour more energy into the space seal, so it weakened gradually. The seal was slowly lifted. Oliver got rid of the seal first. With an icy face, he came to Edgar and Judy. "Why did you guys not help me with that seal?" "I wasn't sure I could return intact," snorted July. "If they can seal you, they can seal us too." "We don't want to take risks," said Edgar indifferently. While they were talking, Yan's space seal was loosening. After his space locks had become ineffective, Montese's time seal disappeared shortly after. The sealed warriors finally regained their mobility. After a while, Beverly, Neptune, and Feral returned with nothing. Forefather Dragon Lizard also arrived. They exchanged information for a while. Because of Yan's teleporting ability, they had missed the chance to kill them. Feral sneered regretfully and spoke about Forefather Dragon Lizard staying inside the algae mass. He accused the other of joining Yan. Edgar and the others immediately wanted to interrogate Forefather Dragon Lizard. Judy of the mysterious Sky Clan kept a calm face and signaled Forefather Dragon Lizard to come to her side. She turned to Edgar and Beverly. She said in a rather neutral voice, "It's our mysterious Sky Clan's business. We didn't ask you to care. It's he who told Yan our plan." Feral hissed coldly. He hated that Forefather Dragon Lizard had suddenly attacked him and made him run helter-skelter. Forefather Dragon Lizard stood by Judy, frowning and saying nothing. Judy didn't look at him, her voice cold. "It's our mysterious Sky Clan's matter. You're not qualified to ask. Moreover, the mysterious Sky Clan hasn't formed an alliance with you guys yet. Why do you have to scream and yell here?" Pausing for a while, she continued with a colder voice, "We're here this time because Edgar said that he found Desolate Territory's entrance. We don't actually want to start a war against the Whitebone clan and the Phantom clan. It's just your narrow idea." Hearing her, Edgar, Beverly, and Neptune grimaced. They finally remembered that Judy hadn't stated that she wanted to join hands with them to deal with the Whitebone clan and the Phantom clan. Previously, when they had aimed at Shiryen and Hero, the members of the mysterious Sky Clan didn't do anything. Then why are you here? Edgar frowned. Was I not clear enough? We're here because of Desolate Territory's entrance. However, it seems that something great has happened to Desolate Territory. You didn't get in there, but you invited us here. It's because Shiryen, Hero, and Montesi are there. You aren't here because of the absolute beginning creature of Desolate Territory. Judy sneered as if she could read Edgar's mind. She didn't want to stay anymore and just waved her hands. We should go. Then, she took Chi, Yeyun, and Forefather Dragon Lizard and bid farewell to Edgar's team. Before leaving, Judy shot Edgar and Beverly a meaningful look. We will meet up soon, said Beverly with a cold face. I don't understand. Yet Yeyun looked skeptical when she turned to Judy as they were heading to the surface of the Sea of Annihilation. We came this time to not fight against Shiryen, Hero, and Montesi. I just wanted to confirm something, Judy smiled. Han Tian used to talk to Bloodthirsty, and he knew some secrets of Desolate Territory and the Devouring Clan. Yeah, Edgar didn't dare to enter the territory entrance. He just stood outside. It meant something terrible had happened to Desolate Territory. Shiryen, Hero, and Montesi had brought that life star and left the Desolate Territory. It confirmed my assumption. It seems that Desolate has woken up. I just wonder if it has recovered all of its energy. I don't get it. Chi forced a smile. There's something you don't need to understand clearly, Judy frowned. You shouldn't have told Ling Mei about Shiryen. That little girl was self-righteous. She had caused trouble. We couldn't have a good relationship with Shiryen. It's not a good thing to do. She changed her voice and said to Forefather Dragon Lizard. I don't really mind that you and Shiryen have a close relationship. Actually, Han Tian and I hope that you could talk to him more. Including you too. She turned to Chi and Yeyun. Why? Forefather Dragon Lizard, Chi and Yeyun asked at the same time. Because Shiryen is Bloodthirsty's successor. Also, because Forefather Han Tian used to talk to Bloodthirsty, he knows something. Shiryen will become an extraordinary character, a crucial element in the future. Judy pondered and then asked Forefather Dragon Lizard, how is Shiryen's personal competence? Too deep to estimate. Forefather Dragon Lizard said with a stern face, if I battle him, I'm not confident that I can win. How could that be? Chi and Yeyun were frightened. They knew Forefather Dragon Lizard was the second generation of an absolute beginning creature, and they knew how he had a terrifyingly immense vitality after he had broken through to the territory ancestor realm. Chi and Yeyun estimated that Forefather Dragon Lizard was even more intimidating than Neptune and Feral. And he said that he wasn't confident to beat Shiryen. How could they buy it? Are you sure? Judy was startled. The intensity of his life magnetic field is even thicker than mine. It means that his body has power similar to my true body, said Forefather Dragon Lizard. Chi and Yeyun were panic-stricken. Judy looked pensive. She nodded and then said, it is so. Actually, I met Shiryen because he said that he might know something about our ancestor lizard's death. He said it could relate somehow to Sauron, explained Forefather Dragon Lizard. Sauron. Judy trembled slightly. What happened? Lately, Sauron came to Han Tian and me. He wanted to invite us to accompany him somewhere. He also went to the Black Demon Clan, the Ancient Monster Clan, the Devouring Clan, and the Soul Clan. I think he had also invited Serene Prison, Edgar, and Beverly too. It's also why Beverly said we would meet up soon, Judy explained. Han Tian and I talked. We want to go. If nothing unexpected happens, Serene Prison, Edgar, and Beverly will join too. Since Hero and Montesi are back, I think their fellows will report them on Sauron's invitation. I think they will go too. Chi, Yeyun, and Forefather Dragon Lizard gawked in a daze. Han Tian, Judy, Serene Prison, Edgar, and Beverly were the peak of existences in the sea domain of nihility. They belonged to the group of the 10 great territory ancestors. What would gather the experts at their level? What would attract all of them there? I shouldn't tell you the details. It has been decided pretty early on. Sauron has been watching that area lately. If he comes to us, it means that the time has finally come. Judy sounded mysterious. Pondering for a while, she added, "When I meet Sauron, I will ask if he's related to your ancestor's death." Forefather Dragon Lizard didn't know what to say. "You and Forefather Han Tion want to go there together? Where's that place after all?" Judy looked at him indifferently. After a while, she said deliberately, "If you can break through to Territory Ancestor Realm, I will tell you." Forefather Dragon Lizard didn't say a word. He had reached the Territory Ancestor Realm, but Judy would never tell him this. Forefather Dragon Lizard understood that he wasn't a real member of the mysterious Sky Clan. If Tu Shirchi and Yayun ended up reaching Territory Ancestor Realm, Judy and Han Tion would tell them the secret. He was just a non-native officer, even though he was loyal. To some secrets, Judy and Han Tion drew a distinct line. Chapter 1517, Cloud Mist Territory. Chapter 1517, Cloud Mist Territory. Cloud Mist Territory. It was a sea of white and gray clouds where clusters of clouds filled each corner of the territory. At first glance, it was just an infinite, empty world. The massive continents floated above the immense cloud sea. Although the continents scattered away from each other, they had mountains, lakes, rivers, creatures, and energy, everything a normal world had. It was the Cloud Mist Territory, a natural territory, the world of the Cloud Tribe. The Cloud Tribe can be deemed a second-class tribe. They haven't had any expert at the Territory Ancestor Realm yet. The members of the Cloud Tribe rarely leave this place. They stay within the Cloud Mist Territory. When the Phantom Clan conquered this territory, we had to pay a big price. We had exerted a lot of effort. The members of the Cloud Tribe in this Cloud Mist Territory are very powerful. This vastly immense cloud sea can give them power. In this place, they are the fish who can enhance their abilities to the best in the clouds. It's something that the creatures in other territories can't compare to. On the lonely life star floating above the cloud sea, Montesi watched the clouds and explained to Shiryen on Cloud Mist Territory. After they had torn the space to enter Cloud Mist Territory from the Sea of Annihilation, Hero, Gay, Dracula, the Little Skeleton, and their bone fellows had returned to the sea domain of Nihility to get back to their own territory. Similar to Desolate Territory, Cloud Mist Territory wasn't inside the sea domain of Nihility. However, it had a territory entrance that led directly to the sea domain of Nihility. That gateway was right in front of Shiryen. It was a big cluster of clouds heavily guarded by members of the Phantom Clan who were based year-round in the Cloud Mist Territory. Through the gateway, they could visit the sea domain of Nihility. It was located in a strange place between the White Bone Clan and the Phantom Clan. Listening to Montesi, Shiryen slowly floated up from Grace Mainland. He found that the gravity in this Cloud Mist Territory so strange. In this territory, people were as light as birds, which enabled them to fly like real birds. Even the lowest realm warriors could use their energy to run as quickly as they can fly. Checking around, Shiryen saw many creatures flying through the clouds between the continents. There were so many flying battleships moving between the continents. This territory had a various range of races. He saw members of the Human Clan, the Demon Clan, the Monster Clan, but the fellows of the Cloud Tribe had outnumbered them. The Cloud Tribe was the native species in this Cloud Mist Territory. They had distinctive features compared to other races. They had flesh bodies, but they didn't seem to have veins. Their bodies had currents of clouds gathering into some points where their energy condensed. They absorbed earth and heaven energy in the Cloud Mist Territory to cultivate, which had the faint mist blended all together. After a long time, the source of energy in their bodies had become like a magical cluster of clouds. Montesi stood on Grace Mainland and talked to Meiji and Shiryen. After around 15 minutes, as Montesi was still introducing the Cloud Mist Territory to Shiryen, they saw the massive, flying battleships emerge. Those battleships carried members of the Cloud Tribe, one of which had carried the good-looking people of the Phantom Clan. They could see an especially outstanding man among that crowd. This man wore a long, silver robe. His eyes were like stars in the sky. He had perfectly proportioned facial features. He was more handsome than the handsome men of the Phantom Clan. That good-looking man was around 30 years old and had graceful and elegant manners. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and stood on the front deck of the battleship, many warriors of the Phantom clan behind him. The experts of the Cloud tribe also looked at him with great and sincere respect. It's true that Fandalay likes the Cloud Mist territory a lot. He's still here to cultivate. It's interesting. Seeing the man come with exaggerated settings, Montesi grinned and shot Meiji a meaningful look. This kid Fandalay has always cared about you. I heard that he likes you a lot. Now, you've reached the territory ancestor realm and you're with Shiryen. I wonder if it's gonna be alright. Meiji went stiff. He doesn't dare to violate your order, Granny. Haha, Montesi just smiled and said nothing else. Only the members of the Phantom clan stood by Montesi and Meiji. Blood Devil, Yang Tian Emperor, Ming Hao, and the others stayed on the continent. They didn't go out. Fandalay is the strongest man in our Phantom clan. He reached the territory ancestor realm 300 years ago. He's like my brother. We used to live in the same tribe. He took good care of me, Meiji explained as she was afraid that Shiryen would misunderstand. He has spent a lot of efforts to conquer this Cloud Mist territory. The members of the Cloud tribe, the previous owner of this territory, have followed him. Many Cloud women consider him their dream lover. As he's been living for years in the Cloud Mist territory, I think he won't give the place away easily. Shiryen listened to her quietly. He frowned and then talked to Montesi. If there's trouble in this territory, why don't we change to another one? The Phantom clan doesn't have only one territory, I suppose. Of course not. However, only the Cloud Mist territory has thick earth and heaven energy with suitable cultivating conditions. Moreover, it's between our Phantom clan and the Whitebone clan. Montesi twisted a tuft of her black hair around her finger, her face relaxed. What are you afraid of? Fandalay? No, not him. I don't want trouble. Shiryen pulled an impatient face. If it's too annoying, I should talk to Hero to see if the Whitebone clan has some good area. Montesi changed her visage. She became more resolute. Don't worry. There will be no trouble. She pulled a stern face, waving at Fandalay and calling him. The flying battleship stopped. Fandalay rode a snow-white shuttle with dozens of Phantom clan warriors and the members of the Cloud tribe. He bowed to her from a far distance. Greetings, Granny. In the Phantom clan, there was no one with a higher position and echelon than Montesi. Although she had used her time power Upanishad to keep herself in the shape of a little girl, she was likely even older than Edgar and Hero. Since Montesi looked like just a little girl, her state of mind was in the same phase. However, she had the wisdom and experience of a peerless granny. She had already considered Fandalay troublesome. That's why she came here personally. Rise. Montesi waved her hand arrogantly, her clear eyes scanning Fandalay's team. The others wore solemn faces and bowed deeper. Montesi gazed at them, and they had a fear as if their previous lives and the current life were exposed, especially the members of the Cloud tribe. It was the first time they saw the real head of the Phantom clan, the peerless character and one of the 10 great territory ancestors of the sea domain of Nihility. They were petrified and couldn't say a word. I wonder what important matter requires Granny to the Cloud Mist territory? Fandalay stood upright, his voice solemn. If you have something you want to do, just send the order. I will do my best for my clan. I will never hesitate. At your echelon, it's a big surprise. I'm scared that you care so much. Meiji became awed and quietly knitted her brows. Perhaps the low-level members of the Phantom clan didn't know that she and Meiji had come to desolate territory. However, Fandalay had ears and eyes everywhere. It was impossible that he didn't know that. Shiryen was right next to them. With Fandalay's intelligence, he must know about that. However, he acted as if he knew nothing. Meiji immediately smelled trouble. Fandalay wouldn't cooperate to share the territory with the others. I'm not here because of you. Montesi narrowed her eyes as she realized Fandalay's thoughts. Let me introduce this young man. He is Shiryen. Yeah, he's the one who got the power Upanishad symbol tower on the seabed of the Sea of Annihilation. We came to desolate territory as he had invited us. I'm going to be frank. Shiryen has brought a life star and gotten rid of desolate territory. I plan to let them stay in the Cloud Mist territory. They will live here from now on. Is that so? Fandalay looked as if he was surprised. He smiled with ease and looked at Shiryen with friendliness before continuing. Bro, you can come and stay in our Cloud Mist territory. It's an honor for Cloud Mist territory and me. Don't worry. I will choose a good place for you. I'm sure you will be satisfied living there. He still considered himself the master as if he didn't get Montese's words. Our Cloud tribe will cooperate with Sir Vanderlei. We will arrange the best auspicious land for them to cultivate, committed an elder of the Cloud tribe whose white beard reached his chest. They had explicitly expressed that Fandalay was their leader. They wanted to show Montese that they only listened to Fandalay. Meiji grimaced. Grace Mainland was hovering in the center of Cloud Mist territory where there was the thickest earth and heaven energy. This place used to be Cloud tribe's holy land where they worshipped their ancestors. Fandalay had attacked and cleared this place. That's why it became empty, which was suitable for Grace Mainland to stay. No other area was more suitable for Grace Mainland than this place in the entire Cloud Mist territory. However, according to that old Cloud man, they would relocate Grace Mainland soon, which went against Montese's wish. They didn't want to listen to Montese. We don't need to waste time and effort to move it. This place is really good. I won't deny it. Shiryen smiled and intervened. His look drilled at that old man. Well, I was hesitating whether to stay in Cloud Mist territory or not. But you guys are so welcoming. I think, yeah, it's really nice to stay here. Right? We have to give you face, don't we? When he said that, he turned to look at Montese. Montese didn't have a satisfied face. She grinned when she heard him. Interesting, interesting. However, hearing Shiryen, the members of the Cloud tribe had evil in their eyes. They were trying to subside their anger as they looked at Fandalay. They were waiting for Fandalay to stand up. Chapter 1518, Skyfall Star River Absolute Beginning Divine Weapon. Chapter 1518, Skyfall Star River Absolute Beginning Divine Weapon. Fandalay was a member of the Phantom Clan. When he invaded the Cloud Mist territory that year, the Cloud tribe, the native tribe, had considered him as their archenemy. To conquer this place, the Phantom Clan had to pay a tragic price. That old man from the Cloud tribe was called Dalsa. He was the current chief of the Cloud tribe. Previously, he was just the head of one of the big families in the Cloud tribe. When Fandalay invaded Cloud Mist territory, Dalsa got the chance. H knew the Cloud tribe couldn't resist the Phantom Clan. Their defeat was just a matter of time. Dalsa discreetly joined hands with Fandalay, and his daughter, Sillin, had a close-knit connection between him and Fandalay. Outsiders couldn't know the situation, but it resulted in Dalsa opening a hole in Cloud Mist territory and directly leading Fandalay and his elite force from the Phantom Clan to where the former chief of the Cloud tribe was hiding. Dalsa and Fandalay had joined hands to kill him. As the former chief was murdered and Dalsa had controlled the situation from the inside, the Cloud tribe's resistance dissolved quickly. Eventually, Dalsa became the new chief of the Cloud tribe and his daughter Sillin became Fandalay's mistress. Dalsa had a treaty with Fandalay which said that when he became the chief of the Cloud tribe and Cloud Mist territory would be dependent on the Phantom Clan, and they would serve Dalsa as their master. It was a business everyone felt satisfied. With Dalsa's help, Fandalay had come and ruled Cloud Mist territory. Gradually, he took hold of the entire Cloud Mist territory. With Dalsa as his insider, Fandalay was really talented. Shortly after, he gained the respect from the Cloud tribe. Fandalay didn't rob the rich lands in Cloud Mist territory, but managed it as his own kingdom. He had introduced many techniques and power Upanishads of the Phantom Clan to the Cloud tribe, which earned him trust and respect from the tribal fellows. It could be said that the Cloud tribe trusted and served Fandalay only, and not any other expert of the Phantom Clan. The Cloud tribe had become Fandalay's private army. As Montese had suddenly arrived with Shiryen and an entire life star, she seemed to want to give Cloud Mist territory to Shiryen. Of course, Fandalay didn't agree, and neither did the Cloud tribe. However, Montese was the expert with the strongest realm in the Phantom Clan. Fandalay didn't dare to confront her directly. He was patient as he signaled Dalsa and said, "You should rest now. You've had a long journey. We will talk about the matter later. Granny, what do you think? Shiryen and his people will stay here. Meiji and I have left the clan for a long time. We have to get back as soon as possible to chair the clan. Montesi knew what Fandelay wanted, but she didn't expose him. I agreed to let Shiryen and his people manage the Cloud Mist territory. Do you have any other idea? What Granny has decided, of course, I will do my best. Fandelay agreed immediately. The Cloud Tribe members behind him showed their discontent faces, which weren't aimed at Fandelay. They loathed Montesi and Shiryen. Good then. Montesi looked at him deep into his eyes and waved her hand. Dismissed. I want to talk to Shiryen in private. Yes. Fandelay brought his subordinates and the Cloud Tribe members and left. Montesi's face slightly went stiff as she said, recently, Fandelay and she have been close to each other. They've become more arrogant. He dares to provoke me inwardly too. Meiji saw Fandelay leaving, her thoughts flickering. We've been away for a long time. I wonder if she has done something. Who? Shiryen was surprised. In our Phantom clan, besides Granny, there's another expert. She's called Candace. She's Granny's younger sister. Her realm. I'm not sure about it. Meiji turned to Montesi. Montesi? Candace? Sisters? Shiryen wore a strange face. He was curious, but he didn't ask. As Montesi mentioned Candace, Montesi's petite face went cold. She snorted coldly, let alone you. I don't know her realm, either. Anyway, I assume that she reached second sky of Territory Ancestor Realm. She also helped Fandelay advance to Territory Ancestor Realm too. This little sister hates me a lot. She's always wanted to compete with me. She has foiled my plans many times too. If she wasn't my sister, I would have killed her already. Forgive me for asking this. Are you blood sisters? Shiryen was curious. Different mothers. Montesi's voice was cold and stiff. I don't want to talk much about her. I brought you to Cloud Mist territory this time to manage it. If that Fandelay intervenes, just do what you want. I know he just entered the Territory Ancestor Realm not long ago, so he can't defeat you. Also, the warriors of his team and even the experts of the Cloud Tribe can't match your men. I don't want trouble in your Phantom clan's territory. And I don't want to get involved in your sister's competition, Shiryen frowned. Well, actually, Granny has her own idea in this. Under this cloud sea, Meiji said, turning to Montesi. Seeing Montesi nod, she continued, rumors say that the Skyfall Star River is right under this cloud sea. Skyfall Star River? What's that? Shiryen sounded mindful. An absolute beginning divine weapon. If a warrior with the star power Upanishad can control the Skyfall Star River, he can use unimaginable powers. This absolute beginning divine weapon was very famous in the absolute beginning era. People said that it could control all the stars in the sky. When the absolute beginning era ended, it disappeared. No one knew where it has gone. Before the Phantom clan has invaded the Cloud Mist territory, we heard from some oldest dwellers in the Cloud Mist territory that the skies of Cloud Mist territory used to have the brightest star river in this world. One day, it fell deep into the sea cloud and no one has ever seen it again, explained Meiji. Shiryen lifted his head to watch the sky. He found no shining star in the skies of this Cloud Mist territory. Fandelay cultivates star power Upanishad. That legend is the reason why he is conquered and then stayed here to cultivate. Meiji watched the cloud underneath. Granny invited you to Cloud Mist territory with the hope that you could subdue Fandelay. She also gave you a chance. You can find the Skyfall Star River. Recently, I received information that Fandelay seems to have some clue as he goes out more often. It's in the old holy land of the Cloud Tribe, which is where Grace Mainland hovers. Listening to her, Shiryen's eyes brightened up. The Skyfall Star River was an absolute beginning divine weapon. It was the best weapon for warriors with the star power Upanishad. Taking a deep breath, Shiryen smiled and said to Montesi, "Thank you for your efforts. I know my plan. I heard from Meiji that it doesn't require a lot of materials to refine a Upanishad original symbol. I'm thick-faced to ask for an absolute beginning original symbol when I have a chance. I want to use it to break through my current realm," said Montesi seriously. "Don't worry. I'll pay you generously." "Oh, I don't dare." Shiryen grinned. Patting Yan's shoulder, Montesi said, Meiji and I have to return to the Phantom Clan. I have to ensure that Canopy doesn't create troubles when I'm not there. You deal with the matters in this cloud mist territory alone. You just do what you think right. Deep in the immense sea cloud was a massive continent with so many majestic mountains in between the clouds. On a peak, many imposing palaces were situated like giant beasts. It was Dalsa's territory. After Dalsa had joined Fandalay to kill the former chief of the Cloud Tribe, this area had become richer and livelier. It was the symbol of power in the Cloud Tribe. Inside a hall filled with gemstones, Dalsa was with his daughter Silin, some experts in his clan who were serving Fandalay, and his sister Fan Huinai. Fan Huinai was Fandalay's older sister. As a woman of the Phantom Clan, of course, she was very beautiful. Her pretty eyes were watery with endless attractiveness. She wore a long, hibiscus red dress, which outlined her voluptuous body. This dress had a loose neck that showcased her white breasts. The experts from the Cloud Tribe had a flame in their eyes. Many brawny and young hotshots of the Cloud Tribe gulped. When they eyed Fan Huinai, they didn't conceal their desire. Fan Huinai grinned and shot them her alluring looks. The men of the Cloud Tribe felt their blood boil in their veins, which could turn them into thirsty beasts in any minute. Fandalay grimaced. He rolled his eyes at his sister. Fan Huinai subsided when she saw his angry expression. She sat up and pretended to be a noble lady as she smiled. I've heard about that Yan. That kid has good deeds. He lured Meiji, the most beautiful woman of my clan. I think he's extraordinary indeed. In the Sea of Annihilation, he had robbed the Power Upanishad symbol tower and gotten out alive. It attests to the fact that he's not easy to deal with. You guys should be extra careful. Fan Huinai was at third sky of Immortal Realm and her competence wasn't as strong as her brother. Although she was slutty, she had helped her brother a lot. She also had helped Fandalay contact Canopy. She had to kneel in front of the cave mansion where Canopy cultivating for a long time to beg her to use cultivating materials of the clan to help Fandalay reach the territory Ancestor Realm. Thus, when she had done lewd affairs, Fandalay couldn't criticize her. He had helped her conceal many dirty things. They're staying in the former holy land of our Cloud Tribe. The clue we got also indicates that location. Silin and Fandalay had an affair, and she was also a beautiful cloud woman. She was Dalsa's daughter. Just like her father, she was infamous for her dark deeds. She had destroyed many families. Dalsa had counted on her a lot. If we don't solve them, we can't continue to search for the Skyfall Star River. Little Lon, do you have any good idea? Asked Fandalay tenderly. Of course, Silin's bright eyes emitted the cold halo. You and our family has paid a lot to get this cloud mist territory. We won't let others take it for free. We won't let anyone ride our necks. We especially have to find the absolute beginning divine weapon inside the Sea of Clouds. It will be a crucial advantage for you to become a leader in the Phantom Clan. This woman's ambition wasn't bound to the Cloud Tribe or Cloud Mist territory. She had schemed against even the Phantom Clan, and she wanted to borrow Fandalay's hand to join the powerful echelon of the Phantom Clan. Chapter 1519, Troublesome. Chapter 1519, Troublesome. Grace Mainland was now located in the old holy land of the Cloud Tribe. This massive cloud sea was strange. It had so many ivory clusters of clouds rising from beneath and hovering like pieces of cotton by Grace Mainland. It was extremely pure earth and heaven energy. Grace Mainland was even stranger. This ancient continent came from desolate territory with abundant energy. After it had stopped here, the magnetic field of Grace Mainland expanded. It was quietly gathering earth and heaven energy around and guiding it to the continent. It made the warriors on Grace Mainland crack in happiness. Endless Sea. The warriors from other great star areas had come and dwelled on the islands scattered around the vast sea. Minghao, Frederick, and Xian, he had chosen the islands belonging to the Dongfang family and the Gu family. They had accommodated the retinue members cultivating the 8 great, evil power Upanishads. Minghao, Frederick, and Xian, he had chosen a place for themselves to cultivate and aimed for the territory Ancestor Realm. The members of the Yang family and the Shur family dwelled and cultivated on the Immortal Island. They were spending a lot of effort to build and strengthen the place. Blackwater Sea Area, the Kiara Sea, Vault of Heaven Sea Area, Yuan Luo Sea Area, and the Tuda Sea hosted the other forces. Shur Yen had requested their leaders to strictly control their subordinates. Everybody was busy building new homes and gathering forces. Many people couldn't adapt well when they first left desolate territory. However, as the situation had come to this, they didn't have a way back, so they had to keep moving forward. Many of them were experts with a great reputation in desolate territory. They all had profound realms and outstanding talents. As Grace Mainland had thick earth and heaven energy, they didn't hate cultivating here. Also, they knew that they had to count on Shur Yen from now on. Deep inside the Endless Sea was where Emperor Sea Shark and his fellows stayed. On the seabed of the Endless Sea, Emperor Sea Shark taught the Sea Clan Low Realm warriors. He had benefited the Sea Clan warriors in the Endless Sea a lot, and many of them had advanced fast. Deep under the sea, inside a brilliant crystal palace, Emperor Sea Shark's voice was like a dragon roaring that emitted through the sea water. Many members of the Sea Clan had traveled a long distance to come to the Crystal Palace and study the power Upanishads with Emperor Sea Shark. They all looked earnest. Also, this crowd of students also consisted of members from the Gu God sect and even members of the Wu families. Moreover, most of them were experts. They got news, and they came to learn the true meanings of power Upanishads with Emperor Sea Shark. Emperor Sea Shark was at the territory Ancestor realm. On this Grace Mainland, he had the highest realm and was one of the peerless existences. The warriors at the Immortal Realm hoped that they could learn something deeper about their power Upanishads from Emperor Sea Shark. As Emperor Sea Shark was teaching them, he suddenly raised his brows. He released the soul consciousness to check the commotions around. His eyes turned strange. He found that the energy pouring into Grace Mainland from the clouds was reducing greatly. The earth and heaven energy in Cloud Mist territory wasn't ordinary. It was really suitable for warriors from different clans to cultivate. This place especially had the thickest earth and heaven energy. After Grace Mainland had come, it had continuously absorbed energy and filled the creatures and plants on the continent. It helped the warriors condense the god power faster. Emperor Sea Shark was very satisfied with the stop. However, the earth and heaven energy pouring into Grace Mainland reduced greatly. Emperor Sea Shark was frightened as he knew things had gone wrong. We're done for today. I have something to do. Emperor Sea Shark stood up and gave Hu Jiao and Shinran some notes and then left alone. Shortly after, Emperor Sea Shark came to the cloud layer outside Grace Mainland. Inside the Sea of Clouds, Shur Yen was frowning and watching Grace Mainland with a dark face. Seeing Emperor Sea Shark, he nodded and said, "You got it too. The earth and heaven energy in this area is reducing. It's not normal. I'm sure someone is troubling us." Emperor Sea Shark and Shur Yen hovered by Grace Mainland. Emperor Sea Shark watched the clouds underneath. This cloud sea used to be the holy land of the Cloud Tribe. Logically, it should have the thickest earth and heaven energy. And it's true. But now, the energy is reducing rapidly. What happened? Shur Yen has just come to the clusters of cloud underneath Grace Mainland to check, but he hadn't found anything yet. The clouds hindered the eyes and even the soul consciousness. The sea clouds were really vast. If something changed somewhere, it would be very difficult to spot. While Emperor Sea Shark and Shur Yen were pondering, their faces darkened as they saw a group of warriors quietly approaching. They were Fandelay, Fanhui Nai, Dalsa, and Silan. They had come here half a month ago when Monasi and Meiji were still here. As they came again at this moment, Shur Yen would never be convinced if they said that the reducing earth and heaven energy had nothing to do with them. "Oh!" Fandelay's face turned solemn. He looked at Emperor Sea Shark from a far distance, his eyes releasing bright divine light. "Who is he?" Dalsa and Silan noticed Fandelay's face. As soon as they saw Emperor Sea Shark, they felt their heart get stuck. It was the invisible pressure from a peerless expert. Emperor Sea Shark from the Sea of Annihilation's seabed. Fandelay shouted, "Oh, that's him." Dalsa changed his visage and became worried. Emperor Sea Shark is also at the territory Ancestor realm. Why is he with them? What's the relationship between them? Does he want to settle down on that life star? After Monesi and Meiji had left, Dalsa assumed that Cloud Mist territory now had only one territory ancestor, which was Fandalay. They thought that they could manage everything with his power. But with Emperor Sea Shark, there was another added variable. They had a character that could resist Fandalay. Scylla was surprised too. Her plan of forcing the others failed. She put on a smiling face and moved forward. Distinguished guests, we were hurried the last time, so we didn't explain something to you. We came to do that now. The holy land of our cloud tribe is really strange. The earth and heaven energy in this place is like a tide. When the tide rises, the energy is extremely rich. It has the thickest energy in the entire Cloud Mist territory. However, when the tide ebbs, it will become an extreme area with the thinnest energy. It's not a good timing that you've come at a time when it ebbs. Is that so? Shi Yan's voice was cold and stiff. He snorted. I have to correct you. We're not guests. We are the owners here. We are the owner of this Cloud Mist territory. Dalsa and the warriors of the Cloud tribe turned harsh. Also, I don't care about the rising or ebbing tides. We won't leave this place. Shi Yan sneered. Scylla's smiling face froze embarrassedly. Chapter 1520, Beseech Battle. Chapter 1520, Beseech Battle. Underscore it was Scylla's idea to guide Earth and Heaven energy to drain the energy here and force Shi Yan's people to leave the place. It would be better for them to seek for Skyfall Star River. Actually, this holy land didn't have the ebbing tide phenomenon. They connected this place to the 5 points of the Holy Land to guide energy out of the area and say that it was a strange phenomenon. Scylla was content with her plans so much that Dalsa and Fandalay also agreed with her. They didn't expect that Shi Yan would forcefully deny them. Scylla's beautiful face froze. She clenched her fists and tried to suppress her anger. She said, "Since you came here to cultivate, I'm sure you need a precious land that meets your needs. This place is about to be drained. Why do you want to grip it so tightly? We don't have to ask you to mind your own business." Shi Yan sneered and said solemnly, "If you don't have anything else to say, you can leave now." He had considered himself the real master. Fandalay, Dalsa, and the Cloud Warriors darkened their faces, their eyes filled with a murderous aura. They were all enraged. Too arrogant. Oh, are they Dalsa and Scylla? Deep in the sea of clouds, a voice arose. Around 10 shadows appeared. They were another group of the Cloud Clan. The leader of this group was an old man with silver-white beard cascaded on his chest. His face was carved with the wrinkles of time. He looked so old, like an ancient dying tree. Most of the others of this delegation were white-headed, senile men. They were wearing the same robes decorated with cloud patterns, which could move like real clouds, like a uniform. They were the members of the High Priest Committee of the Cloud Tribe. The oldest man of this group was the Great Priest Quinn. The High Priest Committee had similar functions to the Elder Committee of the other clans. They could nominate and oust the chief of the tribe. The former chief of the Cloud Tribe was elected by Quinn and his High Priest Committee. Usually, they had an extremely high echelon in their tribe. Anyway, Dalsa's head position wasn't by the High Priest Committee. He had forcefully taken the throne with Fandalay's support. He had become the chief without the High Priest Committee's approval. Afterward, he had tried to weaken the High Priest Committee. Slowly, he had deprived their power and made them an organization without real power. They were now only working on worshipping the Cloud Tribe's ancestors. Today, Quinn took the High Priest Committee members to the Holy Land to worship their ancestors. Although Fandalay had cleared the Holy Land by destroying many buildings and sinking many of them into the Cloud Sea, those old men still kept the traditions of the Cloud Tribe. They would come here periodically to revere their ancestors. It seems like Dalsa has a conflict with someone? Quinn was skeptical as he quietly approached. The closer they got to the Holy Land, the paler they became. The members of the High Priest Committee were outraged. They found a planet hovering in their Holy Land, and the earth and heaven energy of this place reduced massively. "Dalsa, what's going on?" Quinn bellowed from a distance. "The energy of the Holy Land is reduced. Did you guide the energy here to the other 5 ravines through the connecting points? You have severely offended our Cloud Tribe's ancestors. Also, What about that life star? Why did a life star appear in the holy land of our tribe? What the heck are you doing here? Another one questioned. Dalsa didn't expect the High Priest Committee to emerge at this moment. Hearing them, Dalsa darkened his face, but he didn't answer. Quite surprisingly, Shiryen had a cold light flaring in his eyes. It turns out that you've guided the earth and heaven energy here away. Ahaha, you have a lot of guts. Don't you know that Madame Monacy of the Phantom Clan has bestowed this territory to me? Quinn's team was stunned. Their eyes shifted from Fandalay to Shiryen as they didn't know what had happened to the Phantom Clan. I will be here. I'm going to give you 6 hours. Afterward, if the earth and heaven energy in this place isn't back, don't blame me for what comes after, Shiryen told them with a cold smile. Dalsa, Silin, and Fandalay put on sinister faces when they heard him, especially Fandalay. He had been laborious to conquer Cloud Mist territory. He had helped Dalsa weaken the High Priest Committee to become the real master of Cloud Mist territory. With only one sentence from Monacy, how could he give up Cloud Mist territory? Why don't you retract your head and live your life? You want to raise the wind. It seems that I was too soft to you. Fandalay wore a dark face as he was gazing at the members of the High Priest Committee, his eyes twinkling like stars. Dazzling, diamond-like stars emerged above the cloud sea like cold lights. An everlasting intent domain of the stars expanded. Under such a domain, people felt small. The cold stars were sparkling and agile like a spirit created by pure and powerful energy. They fell from the sky and were aimed at the members of the High Priest Committee. Quinn and the other priests were frightened when the cold stars attacked them. I didn't kill you because you're the elders and you've done a lot for the Cloud Tribe. But if you don't have a good sense, I have no way of helping you, said the current chief of the Cloud Tribe. Dalsa coldly looked at them and was enraged because they had exposed Silin's plan. He didn't want to ask Fandalay to show mercy since he thought the others were really annoying. Shiryen! Emperor C's shark hissed and asked Shiryen. Shiryen watched Fandalay urge his star power Upanishad. He observed the stars and sensed their trajectories. Hearing Emperor C's shark, he woke up and said, "Oh, I forgot. We're the masters here." He nodded to Emperor C's shark. Emperor C's shark got it. He flung both of his arms. 2 rivers flew out of his sleeves. As the rivers were crystal clear, they could see fish, grains of sand, bubbles, and algae, everything they could find in a real river. After he got the water original symbol, his power rocketed. The 2 rivers created by his god power didn't look different from a real river. The 2 rivers from Emperor C's shark sleeves created a cross that shielded above Quinn and the other members of the High Priest Committee. When the brilliant stars fell, they sank into the 2 rivers. The supple power of the rivers pulled them and slowed them down. Emperor C's shark. Fandalay shouted coldly, "You dare to stand against our Phantom Clan? In the Sea of Annihilation, the Soul Clan, Devouring Clan, Black Demon Clan, and the Ancient Monster Clan are after you. You've offended many people. Do you dare to offend the Phantom Clan too?" Fandalay turned purple in rage as his attack couldn't reach Quinn's team. He immediately threatened Emperor C's shark. "You can't represent the entire Phantom Clan." Emperor C's shark didn't change his face and said casually, "Precursor Monacy can speak on behalf of the Phantom Clan. I think she wouldn't mind if I stop you here." "Well, you can try reporting me to her." Fandalay, when Precursor Monacy left, she had said clearly that I'm in charge of this Cloud Mist territory from now on. "I am the master," Shiryen sounded calm and natural. "This place is no longer your territory. I hope you will leave soon. Don't disturb our business here. You dare to threaten me by using Monacy?" Fandalay's handsome face paled. "You low human being. You dare play with me? You think you can force me with Monacy behind your back?" Shiryen shrugged. "Without Monacy, I can subdue you. If you don't believe me, you can try." "I do want to try." Fandalay screamed ear-piercingly. His body turned into a shooting star, which was so cold and sharp like an arrow with sky-breaking power. As soon as that arrow was shot out, Emperor C's shark changed his visage. He was about to urge all of his power to resist. "Let me handle that." Shiryen rose one hand to stop Emperor C's shark. The space waves piled up right in front of Shiryen and created a thick space wall. That wall became visible and turned into a shining gold hue as if they were built of gold crystals that emitted beautiful, transparent halos. Space Crystal Wall. Quinn's team screamed in fear. At first glance, they became excited, their eyes shooting magical light. Fan Huinai looked solemn. Seeing Shiryen master the space power Upanishad, she felt nervous. The warriors with space power Upanishad who could cast the space crystal wall were usually at the territory Ancestor realm. Although Shiryen had an aura of a peak of immortal realm expert, he could cast the space crystal wall. She knew that he was very intimidating. Crack! 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 The arrow Fandalay had transformed thrust into the sparkling wall. The space crystal wall shattered like glass. In between the broken, shooting star dots, the starlight arrow had just slowed down, but it continued to attack Shiryen. Well, they're one realm different. There's a big gap between the territory Ancestor realm and the peak of Immortal realm. Emperor Sea Shark sighed and then prepared to take action. He was accumulating his energy. Boom! All of a sudden, the acupuncture points in Shiryen's body had starlight. Instantly, beams of starlight weaved into a star map, which was twinkling mysteriously. It looked like a big secret of the Sea of Stars. After the star arrow pierced through layers of space crystal wall, it slowed down 10 times. When it hit the star map, it deviated in the dazzling starlight. The star map then turned into a shining starlight net. As people caught up with the situation, they saw Fandalay tied inside a thick mesh starlight net. However, they didn't have time to scream in fear when Fandalay exploded and scattered into so many starlight dots. The starlight dots gathered and congregated into Fandalay's shape. He wore a panicked face as he said, "You've mastered star power Upanishad." Turns out he's here because of Skyfall's Star River. Quinn's pupils shrunk. He was startled as he understood Shiryen's intentions. Chapter 1521, The Natural Space Wall. Chapter 1521, The Natural Space Wall. Underscore as Shiryen had shown his star power Upanishad, the members of the Cloud Tribe understood it immediately. Dalsa, Silin, Fanhui Nai, and Quinn understood the matter. The most famous legend of Cloud Mist territory was about Skyfall Star River, an absolute beginning divine weapon. Tens of thousands of years had passed as many experts cultivating star power Upanishad from the world outside came to Cloud Mist territory through the territory entrance. They had stayed in the Sea of Clouds to find Skyfall Star River. Gradually, most of them were gone. The Cloud Tribe killed some and some had gone missing. Eventually, people stopped coming here until Fandalay broke through to the territory Ancestor realm. With star power Upanishad, he had a fixation to that legendary Skyfall Star River divine weapon. He had commanded the experts of the Phantom Clan and directly conquered the Cloud Mist territory, preparing for a long search mission. The territory entrance to Cloud Mist territory became the Phantom Clan's possession, which prohibited people from entering the area. Fandalay and Dalsa were suspicious since they didn't know why Montassi had deliberately taken Shiryen's team to Cloud Mist territory. They thought that Montassi had aimed at Fandalay. And now, seeing Shiryen use star power Upanishad, they understood his reasons. He was here because of Skyfall Star River. It seems that Montassi has told you about the mysteries of Cloud Mist territory. No wonder why you don't want to leave the Holy Land. You want a share of Skyfall Star River. Fandalay pulled a cold face and smirked. I had Cloud Mist territory and cultivated here for years. I haven't found anything. Do you think you can find it? I'm here to seek shelter. About Skyfall Star River, it's by chance then, said Shiryen. Right from the start, he didn't come here for Skyfall Star River. He wanted to find a safe place for Grace Mainland. At this moment, he didn't know why he felt restless and insecure. The feelings came from his deep soul. It was like a pair of bright eyes watching him in the dark. It felt like they belonged to a bloodthirsty beast that was waiting for a chance to bite and chew him off. This feeling became stronger day by day. He pondered for a while and he understood it. Finally, he knew where the source of his insecurity was. Desolate. Desolate has awakened and recovered. His power was increasing every day. He had 2 soul clones. Once Desolate recovered relatively, Shurian would be his primary target. When he got Shurian's co-soul, his soul would be complete. Every second Desolate became stronger, the pressure from Shurian's co-soul increased. As they had a magical connection, no matter how far Shurian was from Desolate, he could feel it every minute. He had to get stronger and enter the territory ancestor realm as fast as possible. He had to try everything to increase his power. Otherwise, when Desolate came and he didn't have the power to resist, what awaited him was annihilation. At least, he knew that he wasn't Desolate's enemy. Once he was caught, he would be killed. He had to seize the chance to get stronger before Desolate absorbed all of his clones. Skyfall Star River was a divine weapon suitable for star power Upanishad. If he got it, he could use it to enter the territory ancestor realm and his competence would greatly improve. Thus, when Mondesi told him about Skyfall Star River, he was moved. I have a suggestion. All of a sudden Quinn, the great priest, opened his mouth. He turned to look at Fandalay and then at Shurian and Emperor Sea Shark. He then said, "They rumor that Skyfall Star River sank deep in the Sea of Clouds. As the great priest of the Cloud Tribe, I understand the ancient language of our tribe. As far as I'm concerned, the rumor is true." We also know that many forerunners had come and explored the deeper areas in the Cloud Sea. After many generations, they found a strange location. It's sealed with many layers of spaces. We have to unfold those layers to know what is hidden down there. Quinn's words caught people's attention, their eyes bright. Quinn's realm wasn't high enough, only at second sky of immortal realm, and he wasn't really talented. However, he was much older than the old Delsa. He had shared the worshipping activity of the Cloud Tribe for many years, so only him knew many secrets of the Cloud Tribe. Thus, when he said he knew the mysteries of Skyfall Star River, there was no doubt. The previous Great Priest guessed that if Skyfall Star River had sunk deep into the Cloud Sea, it should be under those space layers. The members of the High Priest Committee have explored for generations to find that area. Without our guidance, I'm sure you can't find it even if you spend 1,000 years. His face turned arrogant when he said that. If I die, no one knows that area. Fandalay had a strange light in his eyes. Keep talking. According to legends, Skyfall Star River was guided there. Something under the Cloud Sea had attracted it. That thing should be right under that space wall. Quinn's eyes turned hot. We really want to know what's down there. I've been hiring experts with space power Upanishad to break that seal. Unfortunately. He shook his head. The warriors with space power Upanishad I found are at low realms. The best one I could find was at first sky of immortal realm. He died because of drained energy during the progress of breaking layers of spaces. He became stirred up and said to Shurian, "You have space power Upanishad at the peak of immortal realm, and you can cast the space crystal wall. It means that your real competence is higher than that. Perhaps you can go there and see if you can break that wall. We will know what hides down there." "What about us?" hissed Scylan. "No one knows what's hiding down there and how dangerous it could be. Moreover, I know our Cloud Tribe can't decode that secret. Thus, I'm suggesting that we all go there to unlock this tens of thousands of years secret," shouted Quinn. He made his own calculations. Seeing Shurian, Emperor Sea Shark, and Fandalay have equal powers, he invited both sides. He wanted to make the two sides compete against each other. He would find the best chance. Thus, he told the secret in front of both Shurian and Fandalay. Shurian and Fandalay exchanged looks. They didn't discuss how to share Skyfall Star River. They pondered then nodded, indicating that they agreed with Quinn's suggestion. Right after that, Shurian sent his soul message to Grace Mainland. Shadows pierced through the atmosphere of Grace Mainland, hovering by Shurian and Fandalay. They were Minghao, Xianhe, Frederick, Audrey, Azure Dragon, DeCarlos, Lady, and Blood Devil, all the immortal realm experts. But they weren't all the experts that had come to Grace Mainland from the other star areas in Desolate Territory. Seeing them, Scylan, Dalsa, and Quinn became solemn. They didn't expect that small life star could have so many experts. Especially Minghao, he was at the peak of immortal realm, and he was just one step away from the territory ancestor realm. Soon, he would enter the territory ancestor realm. All the members of the Cloud Tribe felt pressure as they found that those intruders were actually powerful dragons. They shouldn't underestimate them. You don't mind if I get someone to help? Shiryen grinned. Yeah, I've thought for you guys. In case things go wrong, we can get more defenses, right? Quinn nodded. We don't have enough manpower, Sillin muttered. We should call some experts. It will improve the possibility to get through that secret. It's good for everyone. Dalsa felt the pressure, so he hurried to use the Soundstone to call for help and summon the experts of his clan. Fandalay furrowed his brows and sent his soul message to gather his subordinates. Several hours later, the Immortal Realm experts of the Cloud Tribe, the Phantom Clan summoned by Dalsa and Fandalay, had come. There was a dozen of them. It was also the strongest force of Cloud Mist territory. Dive, Fandalay smiled when he saw his subordinates come. He gestured Quinn to depart. Quinn nodded and took the group under Grace Mainland, diving into a thick layer of clouds. Shiryen went with Emperor Sea Shark, Minghao, and the others. As soon as they got into the cloud sea, their vision was affected a lot. The milky clouds were so thick that they could only see the ones flying next to them. Releasing the soul consciousness, the area reflected in their heads was also limited. This place was covered by the endless white mist. Cloud Mist territory was immensely vast. If it was the same down here, it was like finding a needle in a haystack for the ones who came to explore the Skyfall Star River. It was almost impossible. The High Priest Committee of the Cloud Tribe had spent generations to find that strange location. They had exerted a lot of effort. Deep inside the Cloud Sea, Shiryen believed Quinn's words. Without his directions, even if they spent 1,000 years, they wouldn't be able to find anything. Quinn and his High Priest Committee grouped while Shiryen and his fellows, Fandalay, Sillin, and his subordinates formed two groups. The three groups moved fast through the Cloud Sea. Following Quinn, they were heading to that mysterious place the High Priest Committee had found. Time flew fast. It was 10 days already. They were still moving under Quinn's direction. When they gradually became impatient, Quinn suddenly slowed down. People were stirred up immediately, divine light shooting from their eyes. They hurried to catch up with him. Quinn halted. He was hovering in a strange area where the light was rippling. Shiryen and the others gathered. They saw something like a rippling pond in front of Quinn. Squinting, Shiryen used his space power to sense. Concentrating, his soul consciousness was like a needle thrusting into the layer of light waves. Sizzle. A wave of space energy emitted from that light wave area. Shiryen's eyes brightened as he smiled. It's a space wall, indeed. Moreover, it's naturally made. Wonderful. The naturally made space wall was rare. It was the masterpiece of nature, so it had more mysteries and powers of space power Upanishad. Sensing for a while, Shiryen confirmed that if he could break this natural space wall, his understanding of space power Upanishad would advance to the next level. His enthusiasm was triggered. Chapter 1522, Permeating. Chapter 1522, Permeating. What do you think? Can you break the seal? Quinn the Great Priest looked tense as he gazed at Shiryen. To break the seal in this area, he had hired several experts with space power Upanishad. Those warriors had tried their best, but none of them ever succeeded. One of them died from failing to break the seal. And that one also had the highest realm. It had cast a shadow in Quinn's head and made him restlessly worried. Fandalay, Dalsa, and the others came after Shiryen. Seeing the strange land with layers of lights, their eyes brightened. Dalsa and Sillin had studied the clue and spent a lot of time and effort. They thought that they were close to the secret of Skyfall Star River. But when they saw this place now, they knew their clue couldn't lead them here. Did you try to hit it hard? Shiryen didn't answer but asked. I did. Bad results. Quinn pulled a bitter face. We couldn't open it and the backfire hit us hard. Although that expert was at third sky of Immortal Realm, he almost lost his life. I can try to break the seal with space energy, but I need to check the thickness of this natural space wall first. I need someone to hit the wall. A high realm expert is better. He glanced at Fandalay and said indifferently, Precursor Quinn, Show us the location of Skyfall Star River. I've mastered the space power Upanishad. We've both contributed, but someone hasn't done a thing. Quinn turned to Fandelay. Previously, Fandelay had attacked them. He had almost killed Quinn and the members of the High Priest Committee. It was impossible that Quinn didn't loathe him. Thus, when Shiryen reminded him, Quinn turned to Fandelay and asked, "What do you think?" "All right." Fandelay was resolute. He lifted his front tunic aside and shot towards the wall like a big beam of light. So many sparkling dots flashed with thick starlight and created a star lance above Fandelay's head. It was a bright silver lance created by thousands of light beams. It thrust into the space wall like a waterfall. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Layers of space barriers that were like sheets of water were placed on each other. All of a sudden, halos rippled and created natural space patterns. Heavy pressure from the sealed space came from that space barrier. People observed and found strange light, including lightsabers that shot out like pieces of a ruptured lens. Those lightsabers attacked everywhere. Puffed. Crack. The warriors hovering nearby got hit. The lightsabers pierced through their bodies and their chests exploded. Since Fandelay was taking action, he couldn't distract his mind to protect his subordinates. Many warriors of the Cloud Tribe and the Phantom Clan got hit and their bodies exploded. Before Fandelay had taken action, Shiryen had guessed the results and he had discreetly notified Emperor C. Shark. When the lightsabers exploded, Emperor C. Shark and Shiryen took action. They joined hands to create many barriers and shields to prevent those deadly sabers from hitting anyone in their group. No one in his group was hurt. They held cold smiles as they watched Dalsa and his people. Boop, boop, boop. Fandelay received most of the lightsabers. He was now dazzling like a big star and smashing all the lightsabers. He looked helter-skelter. He didn't continue to hit the wall but retreated. He rolled his eyes at Shiryen. "Are you satisfied now?" "I am." Shiryen didn't mind him. After Fandelay moved aside, Shiryen stepped forward to the space barrier. Emperor C. Shark, Ming Hao, and Xian, he immediately swarmed over and pushed Quinn's High Priest Committee away. They all pulled stern faces and become vigilant. If Fandelay's people moved, they would take action right away. The members of the Cloud Tribe were screaming painfully. 3 experts at First Sky of Immortal Realm had their bodies shatter. Their soul altars flew out and the others preserved them inside some special tools. Quinn's people also retreated. They looked at Shiryen and expected him to open the seal. Shiryen stood on the natural space barrier and urged his space power Upanishad. Shortly after, a polyhedral prism emerged from his glabella. As soon as the prism appeared, the onlookers had a magical feeling. They felt as if they were in different spaces. This polyhedral prism was Shiryen's space power Upanishad in his tier of power Upanishads. The prism reflected different spaces and mingling between illusory and real spaces. If Shiryen didn't use his power, those spaces were just illusions. But if he used his god power to condense them, those spaces would become real. Real or illusory, it depended on Shiryen's thoughts. The prism that was projecting different illusory spaces suddenly fell onto the natural space barriers. Shortly after, it got into the first layer of the barrier. A wonderful feeling that nothing could comparito filled Shiryen's head. He recognized that after the prism had entered the space barrier, his soul consciousness had pierced through layers of barriers and fallen into the sea of clouds underneath. Swoosh! As his soul consciousness had permeated through the barrier, his entire soul altar arose. The sea of consciousness, the tier of power Upanishads, heaven flames, the tier of incipient extent, the co-soul and the host soul piled up and created a lotus throne-like structure. At first glance, they were like the most exquisite and perfect masterpiece. Its beauty looked unreal, though. Fandelay and the fellows of the Cloud Tribe were awestruck when they saw Shiryen's soul altar. They never saw a soul altar as marvelous as this one. Ming Hao, Xianhe, Audrey, and the others were dumbstruck when they saw Shiryen's arising soul altar. How marvelous this soul altar was! The sea of consciousness was immense and hazy, and consisted of layers of wisps of soul consciousness. In the middle of the sea of consciousness was a pond congregating dark energy. It was deep green with endless soul energy. In the tier of power Upanishads, the river of the star energy, the life ball with the magical, moving original symbol, the desolate, dead silent area of death, a jet-black cave, and the 8 islands of the 8 great. Evil power Upanishad occupied the space. The incipient extent was like an immense galaxy with sparkling stars. On those stars, people could see the lush forest, green rivers, and mountains, together with vast lands. This incipient extent looked like a mini-universe. It looked strange but wonderful. The host soul and the co-soul hovered above the incipient extent like 2 gods watching the world with the everlasting bearings of gods. Everybody observed that magical soul altar. They felt awe, but when they compared it to their own soul altars, they found that theirs were so ugly, plain, and nothing to be proud of. While they were awestruck, Shuryan's body halted still while his soul altar completely sank into the space barrier like fish diving into the sea. It disappeared shortly after. What's happened? Scylla screamed. He wants to ditch us here to explore it alone. Hearing her, Quinn and the others were enraged. They turned to Emperor Sea Shark, Ming Hao, and Frederick and demanded a proper answer. Well, I want to know if you've schemed against Shuryan or not. Audrey tried to suppress her anger, her eyes icy. Shuryan's body is here and his soul altar was sucked out by the space barrier there. Did you plan all of these? His soul altar is detached. It seemed to be done on purpose. It seems like this space barrier has something mysterious but marvelous. Emperor Sea Shark agreed with Audrey. We have to protect Shuryan's body first. It's too ambiguous. Perhaps they've trapped us. They are from the same side, and they did this to deceive us and push Shuryan into danger. The warriors from Grace Mainland changed their faces, coldly facing Fandalay and Quinn and demanding an answer. The battle could start in any minute. How could it be? Why? Quinn was puzzled. The development of this event was not part of his plan. His plan was to let Shuryan open the seal, and then he would have instigated the battle between Shuryan and Fandalay. In his best scenario, both sides would be damaged, and he would be left with the benefits. It was true that he didn't tell them many secrets. He had prepared well to ensure his benefits at the critical moment. At this moment, what he had prepared was useless. The magnificent place that generations of the High Priest Committee had spent a lot of effort to find had allowed Shuryan's soul altar to get through, and none of them could enter. They were blocked outside, so they could only just stand and stare. Quinn felt lost already. Similarly, Fandalay also felt annoyed. He only thought that Shuryan had ditched them there and intruded the place alone to find Skyfall Star River. Give us Shuryan's body. I want to use his body to force him to return, shouted Fandalay. The members of the Cloud Tribe took action as they heard Fandalay. They immediately surrounded Emperor Sea Shark's team. At this moment, Quinn was comforting the members of the High Priest Committee and trying to find another solution. I demand a proper explanation. Emperor Sea Shark pulled a cold face. He was grateful for Shuryan because Shuryan had given him an absolute beginning original symbol, which was going to be a great help for him when he broke into second sky of territory Ancestor Realm. Thus, he had determinately gone to the Endless Sea and stood on the same side as Shuryan. Although Fandalay was at first sky of territory Ancestor Realm, he hadn't been in this realm for a long time. Emperor Sea Shark didn't consider him a lot. Make it clear. No. Audrey asked the others to protect Shuryan's body, her face cold. She was ready to fight against the Cloud Tribe. Boom. Billions of brutal souls flew out. The soul-refining cauldron hovered in between the massive horde of souls. The absolute beginning symbols on the cauldron's surface moved and released a cold and sinister aura. Kill! Emperor Sea Shark shouted and headed to Fandalay first. The absolute beginning original symbol in his power Upanishad bloomed with bright light. Water power gushed out and increased his strength. Chapter 1523, Territory Ancestor. Chapter 1523, Territory Ancestor. Shuryan's soul altar moved through the natural space barrier and appeared in the world below the cloud sea. Shuryan was dazed right away. It was the beautiful, brilliant starry sky by his soul. It was the most magnificent galaxy he had ever seen. It was mysterious and deep. It gave him a feeling that it would never disappear. It was the world under the cloud sea, a world of brilliant stars. Each of the stars here had vigorous life energy fluctuations as if they had their own souls. After a glance, the stars weaved with each other and created rivers that were flowing in a magical trajectory. The co-soul and the host soul observed the splendid rivers. Shi was suddenly touched. It was an affection that came from the bottom of his heart. The galaxy created by millions of stars parted into different rivers in the sky as if the stars were streaming and moving. He observed the area underneath. It was a massive continent that nothing could compare to, where there were so many deep gorges with rivers flowing. Inside those running rivers, Shi felt a stinky smell, which surprised him a lot. Underneath the sea of clouds, there was a massive continent where there were so many rapid rivers. It was incredible and unbelievable. The heavenly rivers in the sky were flowing, and the rivers on the continents were gushing. They were the veins of earth and heaven. The host soul and the co-soul gazed at the rivers in the sky and on the land. Somehow, they perceived something spectacular. Shi's vast sea of consciousness suddenly divided and made many currents of soul consciousness. Looking at the sky and the ground, Shi made the rivers in his sea of consciousness move towards the trajectories of the rivers in the sky and on the ground. Suddenly, he felt that he had just grasped the rule of nature, or the great path. It was so breathtaking. He cheered up and put everything aside to focus on perceiving the marvelous feelings. While concentrating, he didn't know the condition of his body. He didn't know that the God power was murmuring in his veins as if it was moving in the same trajectory with the rivers in the sky, on the ground, and in his sea of consciousness. Right where Emperor Sea Shark and the others were fighting Fandalay, he was protecting his body, so he found the strange situation immediately. He observed and found that Shi's body was full of vitality, even though his soul altar wasn't there. Shi's veins were filled with pure energy, and his veins were now rivers that guided his power, moving in a mysterious and marvelous trajectory. It scared Shi out of his wits. He didn't have time to scream when Shi's soul aura came from the space barrier. Shi's body was summoned. As Shi was still dumbstruck and standing like a statue, Shi's body turned into a jet of light and shot toward the barrier underneath. The incident happened in just a blink of an eye. He couldn't do anything to stop it. When he could react, Shi had disappeared already. Swoosh! Shi's body pierced through the space barrier and went to the world beneath the cloud sea, right next to his soul altar. His host soul and his co-soul didn't react, as they were quietly learning the spectacular essence of earth and heaven. When his body entered, it sank to the continent as if it had gotten rid of the soul altar's control. Boom! His body fell into a river and sent a shaking tremor to the entire continent. Instantly, God power in Shi's veins had connected to the river on the ground. The star power Upanishad in Shi's soul altar radiated magnificent lights. The twinkling starlight flew out of the rivers in the sky and fell onto the river on the ground. Instantaneously, the rivers on the ground reeked with the smell of a river and fresh blood. The river water connected to Shi's veins and flooded his body furiously. Billions of pores on his body opened and sucked the reeking water. Crack! 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 Magically, Shi's blood boiled. The immortal demon blood was burning. As his consciousness hadn't done anything to trigger his body automatically transformed. The rivers in the sky were the veins of heaven. The rivers on the ground were the veins of earth. The veins in the body transported blood, and the rivers in the sea of consciousness were the veins of the soul. The heaven, earth, human, and soul had fused into one in Shi's body and blended harmoniously and beautifully. If someone else was in this world at the moment, he would have seen star rivers in the sky that were moving and congregating in Shi's soul altar and entering his immensely vast incipient extent. The heavenly rivers created by Skyfall Star River became the band of stars in Shi's incipient extent. They made his incipient extent more spectacular and mysterious. Underneath, the rivers on the continent that was dozens of times bigger than Grace mainland were running out. Quite the contrary, Shi's body inside one of those rivers was ballooning fast. His body was absorbing the river water and transforming. It was heading to the giant shape of the absolute beginning creatures. Gradually, Yan's unique shape appeared. His entire body was covered in natural scaled armor. Strange and savage spikes jutted out of his shoulders, elbows, and knees. A pair of bone wings grew from his broad back. His fingers became so sharp like claws of strong beasts. His body was already brawny and now it looked as if it was being magnified. As the rivers were being drained, life energy fluctuated more terrifyingly from his body. Gradually, his body was getting bigger than Dragon Lizard, and he could compare to the true body of Dragon Lizard inside Dragon Lizard Star that year. Yan now looked like an ancient god lying across the continent like a mountain range that had stretched millions of miles. His head, facial features, body, and limbs were growing, and he was turning into a giant. However, he was so big that even members of the giant tribe were like ants compared to his elephant body. At this moment, his body had grown tens of thousands of times compared to his original size. As the rivers on the ground gradually drained, Yan's body still grew and the life energy in his body got stronger and stronger. Time flew hurriedly. When the rivers on the ground dried, Yan's body was as big as absolute beginning creatures like Devour or Hui. It seemed like another absolute beginning creature was just born. At the same time, Yan's incipient extent had quietly changed and ascended into a territory. Dark energy in the soul pond inside his sea of consciousness overflowed and poured into the incipient extent. The brilliant stars inside the incipient extent began to move. Auras of lives slowly grew in the planets that Yan had created. When the incipient extent had life energy fluctuating, it was the sign that it was transforming into a territory. As Skyfall Star River had entered Yan's incipient extent, his incipient extent was absorbing dark energy and creating lives. His world now had new species, new races. Only territory ancestor realm experts had the power to create lives. Yan's soul altar got the star rivers from the sky and his body got rivers on the ground. In this strange land, Yan got great benefits. He was becoming a territory ancestor at an amazing speed. The Great Priest Quinn didn't know that Cloud Mist Territory had parted a long time ago. Cloud Mist Territory was created by the combination of Cloud Territory and Mist Territory. Between the two territories were layers of space barriers. The purpose of Cloud Territory was to conceal Mist Territory. Mist meant hide and conceal. Mist Territory was the hidden world. In the Absolute Beginning era, this world was one of the most magical lands. It was where absolute beginning creatures healed from their wounds. It wasn't because of his profound space power Upanishad that Yan could enter this place. To be exact, it was because his soul had the aura of an absolute beginning creature. His co-soul had merged with two soul clones of Desolate, which made him a part of an absolute beginning creature. Yan didn't know that absolute beginning creatures like Desolate, Devour, and Hui had tried a lot to find this place to recover their power. The river water in the rivers on the ground was actually life original fluid, a magical fluid that could transform lives. Unfortunately, this hidden world was so mysterious that Devour and Hui couldn't find it. Yan had accidentally entered this area and transformed using the life original fluid here. After ascending once, he had reached the level of absolute beginning creatures. His body had become like an absolute beginning creature. His incipient extent had turned into a territory. When his cultivation base increased, his territory was going to become more magical, which could be even better than Desolate Territory. After taking in life original fluid and Skyfall Star River had entered his territory, besides entering the territory ancestor realm, Yan's body also became like an absolute beginning creature. Desolate Territory. Desolate, ancient god continent, ancient demon continent, and god-blessed mainland had merged with each other and become a massive life star. This life star was a strange, immense world that was blank. An ancient creature like a dragon lay across the planet. It was the heart of this continent. This dragon-like ancient creature was Desolate's real body. It was stretching like an endless mountain range. Also, it wasn't complete yet. On the dragon head, Ghost Hunter in his human form slowly emerged, his eyes dark and mysterious. At this moment, he seemed to understand something. His eyes pierced through the endless space to look at Grace Mainland in Cloud Mist territory. He was slightly shocked. Through the soul connection, he could feel Shurian's changes. The absolute beginning body and territory ancestor realm, Ghost Hunter muttered, his face bizarre. It's a little difficult to merge with him, but it will come with greater benefits. I can recover my power and I can even get the height I couldn't reach in the absolute beginning era. If so, I can get through the absolute beginning gateway without the power Upanishad symbol tower. While talking, the giant body wiggled. Desolate's true body on the continent moved. The enormous energy in the planet gushed. With terrifying roars, he moved away in the infinite outer space. Inside the turbulent space basin, the 12-headed giant snake, Huey's true body, was gathering energy. Sitting on the gorgeous throne above the snake's head, Ziyao changed her visage. This roar. He is almost finished recovering. It's not good to stay here any longer. Then, the 12-headed snake body of Hui moved through many broken asteroids and headed toward the territory entrance. Deep inside the territory of the Devouring clan, see Domain of Nihility. Devour also heard the roar in his soul. He knew Desolate's strength was increasing. Devour was frightened. He knew that the terrifying danger was approaching. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.